Chapter 11:17. Stop! Suddenly, an angry roar sounded. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. A man in a golden robe with an extraordinary bearing appeared in the air. His eyes seemed to contain the sun and the moon, and his hair was slightly white. He slapped the two ancient seals with his fleshy palms that flickered with Tao light and contained Tao diagrams. Boom! The two ancient seals shook violently, and the sound of the air being torn apart sounded. Under the attack of the golden-robed man's palms that contained Tao diagrams, the power of the two ancient seals was constantly being torn apart. In the end, the two ancient seals controlled by the Marquis of Qianming were forcefully pushed back. The Marquis' chest was bleeding. The severely injured Yong Tianho saw the man in the golden robe appear in time to save him. He let out a sigh of relief and shouted, Marquis Qianming is too bold. He wantonly provoked a fight between our two divine kingdoms and wanted to kill me. Marquis, please help me. King Tu Marquis Qianming took back the two ancient seals and looked at the man in the golden robe, who gave him a strong sense of oppression. He frowned. Wang Tian Marquis and the others who were watching the fight at the entrance of the inn changed their expressions. Heavenly King Tu was Yong Tianho's backer. Back then, Heavenly King Wang had wanted to use the person Yi Chunfeng had captured to report Yong Tianho's evil deeds and severely punish him. However, Heavenly King Tu had obstructed him in every possible way. In the end, the matter was left unsettled. That was close. If I couldn't help but attack, Yong Tianho would definitely bite back and use King Tu to punish me. At that time, not only would I lose face, but I would also be punished and my power would be weakened. Looking at King Tu, who suddenly appeared, Wang Tian Marquis instantly thought of Yong Tianho's plan and felt grateful. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have been able to control his anger and jump into Yong Tianho's trap. Marquis Qianming, how dare you come to my 9 heavens divine kingdom's gathering place and injure a marquis of my 9 heavens divine kingdom? Do you know your crime? Heavenly King Tu rebuked loudly as he glared at the Marquis Qianming with his hands behind his back. I'm not looking for trouble, but Yong Tianho has gone too far. He insulted me in front of everyone and even slandered my Kirin kingdom, saying that my Kirin kingdom's strength is far inferior to your 9 heavens god kingdom. That's why I attacked him. The Marquis of Qianming withdrew the two ancient seals and looked at Heavenly King Tu, who was giving off a sense of prestige without being angry. You are slandering me. When did I slander the Kirin kingdom? Yong Tianho's lungs were about to explode from anger. He didn't think that the Marquis of Qianming would turn the tables and slander him. Ignoring the injury on his mouth, he angrily roared. Do you have proof? Heavenly King Tu frowned slightly as he spoke in a deep voice. The crime of slandering the Kirin kingdom was neither too big nor too small. If Yong Tianho had really slandered the Kirin kingdom just now and the Marquis of Qianming had gotten hold of this, it could very well lead to a series of consequences and troubles. When he slandered the Kirin kingdom, everyone present heard the Marquis of Qianming coldly snort and fearlessly speak. You despicable bastard, how dare you slander me? Yong Tianho glared at the Marquis of Qianming with his blood-red eyes, wanting to strangle him to death. What, do you want to fight? The Marquis of Qianming coldly glanced at him and disdainfully said, With your strength, you will only humiliate yourself if you fight. If you want to die, I can help you. Yong Tianho was so angry that he spat out blood. He was on the verge of collapsing and almost fell to the ground. Okay, shut up. Heavenly King Tu frowned slightly as he looked at the voluptuous Marquis of Wang Tian standing on the side and said in a low voice, Wang Tian Marquis, since you are also here, why don't you tell us what happened just now? Yes, Your Highness. Wang Tian Marquis nodded and simply told the story of what happened. However, when he was telling the story, he intentionally sided with the Marquis of Qianming and named Yong Tianho as the source of the disaster, which made Yong Tianho tremble with anger. I finally understand that you two are in cahoot. Yong Tianho wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and angrily roared, Wang Tian Marquis, have you already joined the Kirin kingdom? Marquis, did you see that? Yong Tianho bites whoever he sees. He is unreasonable. Wang Tian Marquis looked at Yong Tianho, whose cheeks had caved in and a deep sword mark on his chest, and said with a cold smile, You. At this moment, Yong Tianho hated the Marquis of Qianming to the core. If it weren't for him, the Marquis of Wangtian Marquis would have already jumped into his trap. But now, not only was he humiliated, he was also framed. This made him tremble with anger, and he was so frustrated that he wanted to spit out blood again. Shut up. If you talk nonsense again, don't blame me for imprisoning you. Heavenly King Tu glared at the irrational Yong Tianho and coldly warned him. Meeting Heavenly King Tu's gaze, the angry Yong Tianho could only obediently shut his mouth and swallow his anger. Forget it, since you, Heavenly King Tu, are here, then I will give you face and forget about today's matter. The Marquis of Qianming magnanimously said and walked out. Before this matter is investigated clearly, you are not allowed to leave. Heavenly King Tu blocked the Marquis of Qianming with his stalwart body and said coldly, What? Heavenly King Tu wants to attack me? The Marquis of Qianming smiled and said fearlessly, I admit that I am not your opponent. But if you want to capture me, I am afraid it will not be that easy. Someone will seek justice for me. What? Are you threatening me? Heavenly King Tu's face darkened. Nirvana's aura spread out from his body. This aura was so strong that it made the Marquis of Qianming's body tremble. I don't dare to threaten you. I am just stating the consequences of this matter. The Marquis of Qianming took a deep breath and endured the terrifying aura released by Heavenly King Tuesday. Heavenly King Tu sneered, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. You are just a little Marquis. How dare you talk to me about consequences? After confirming that the Marquis of Qianming had no evidence, and that everyone present was from the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom, Heavenly King Tu was completely relieved. He wanted to teach the Marquis of Qianming an unforgettable lesson and show the power of the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. As he spoke, Heavenly King Tu reached out with his hand. A large amount of Tao patterns like dragons and snakes quickly gathered and formed a giant hand that covered the sky. With a suffocating pressure, it pressed towards the Marquis of Qianming, trying to suppress him. Demon Snake Seal, Beast Head Ancient Seal, Block. Feeling the terrifying destructive power of Heavenly King Tu's giant hand, the Marquis of Qianming's expression changed slightly. He immediately used 2 Gu Dao treasures to block it. The moment the giant hand made contact with the 2 ancient seals, it immediately exploded with a power that changed the color of heaven and earth. The terrifying power shook the extremely tough void and twisted it. Puff, puff. The difference in strength between a Nirvana Realm martial artist and a Nirvana Realm martial artist was like the heavens and the earth. Bearing the impact of the counterforce that surged down with an overwhelming force, the Marquis of Qianming's body trembled as he took 3 steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. Heavenly King Tu, does your Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom want to start a war with my Kirin Kingdom? The Marquis of Qianming didn't expect Heavenly King Tu to be so terrifying. The 2 Gu Dao treasures that he controlled couldn't block his Dao intent giant hand. Ignorant brat, you provoked me first and even tried to kill the Marquis of my Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. Today, I want to see who will stand up for you. The Heavenly King Tu was unmoved. He reached out with his hand, and another terrifying hand that blotted out the sky appeared. It was as if a mountain was crushing down. Marquis of Qianming, just you wait. When the Marquis captures you, I have 100 ways to torture you. I want you to know the consequences of provoking me. I want you to regret being born in this world. Heavenly King Tu was severely injured. Heavenly King Yong, who was healing on the side, revealed a ferocious expression. Just as the Marquis of Qianming was about to be suppressed by Heavenly King Tu's giant hand, a strange teleportation power suddenly appeared and enveloped the Marquis of Qianming. In the next moment, before the terrifying giant hand landed, the Marquis of Qianming strangely disappeared from where he was. This sudden scene shocked everyone present. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:18. Where did the Marquis Qianming go? Seeing the Marquis Qianming disappear, Yong Tianho's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. He couldn't believe that the Marquis Qianming could escape from King Tuesday watermark advertisement test space treasure. Who is it? Come out. The knowledgeable King Tu immediately thought of the reason for the Marquis Qianming's disappearance. A powerful soul force erupted from his soul sea, covering a radius of a few miles and searching for anyone suspicious. However, the universe realm had already been taken into Yi Chenfeng's body. No matter how King Tu searched, he couldn't sense the existence of the universe realm. Uncle Wang, what happened just now? At this time, a woman wearing a green silk dress with an elegant temperament, crescent-shaped brows, starry eyes, and a crystal flower crown slowly walked over and asked in a pleasant voice. She was accompanied by 2 guards of the 9 heavens divine kingdom. She was accompanied by an elegant woman with crescent-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes. Just now, someone from the Kirin kingdom came here to cause trouble and beat up Yong Tianho. King Tu said with a frown. He thought that there would be a Kirin kingdom expert hiding nearby and saving the Marquis Qianming. However, his powerful soul force covered the surroundings and he couldn't find anyone suspicious, which made him slightly surprised. Could it be that the one who saved the Marquis Qianming was a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert? Did someone order him to cause trouble? Many thoughts flashed through King Tu's mind. He felt that the situation was a bit serious. I'm sorry, King. I've lost face for you. Yong Tianho looked at King Tu, who was frowning and whose expression was becoming more and more gloomy. His heart trembled, and he couldn't care about his face anymore. He bowed and apologized. Xiao Ping, I already told you not to cause trouble. King Tu looked at the terrified Yong Tianho and coldly lectured, This is not my 9 heavens divine kingdom. Here, everything depends on strength. Without strength, you will only bring shame to yourself. Xiao Ping knows his mistake. I won't do it again. Although Yong Tianho was going crazy and wanted to kill someone to vent his anger, in front of King Tu, he didn't dare to be rash. Also, all of you better behave yourselves here. If you provoke someone you can't afford to provoke, no one will save you. Tu Tianwang looked at the 9 heavens divine nations experts who had walked out of the inn and stood respectfully to the side as he reprimanded loudly. After teaching him a lesson, Tu Tianwang, who was deep in thought, left with the noble woman in the green dress. Humph! After Heavenly King Tu left, the heavily injured and humiliated Yong Tianho no longer had the face to stay. He angrily glared at the smiling heaven-gazing Marquis before leaving with the heavily injured Xiao Tianyan and the others. Marquis, this is my first time in Fire God City. I want to take a look around. After Yi Chenfeng and the others settled down, Yi Chenfeng went to find Wang Tian Marquis. He wanted to go out and buy some things in case he needed them. Feng Chen, we just had a conflict with Yong Tianho. If you go out now, you might be in danger. Wang Tian Marquis said worriedly. Don't worry, Marquis, they can't hurt me. Yi Chenfeng smiled and said confidently. Mother, I also want to go out for a stroll. Can I? At this time, Jiao Yuyan walked out of the room. She looked at Yi Chenfeng and said with a charming face. Alright, then you two can go together and take a look around Fire God City. Thinking about how Yi Chenfeng could even kill Bujia, Wang Tian Marquis was slightly relieved. He warned, but Fire God City is different from other places. There are too many experts here. Here, bear with it if you can and don't cause trouble. Don't worry, Marquis, we will be careful. After that, Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan left together. Fire God City was too big. Yi Chunfeng was too unfamiliar with this place, and it was also Jiao Yuyan's first time here. The two strolled around while inquiring about famous places. Finally, after asking around for more than 2 hours, Yi Chunfeng saw a 5-meter-tall luxurious palace in the distance. It was emitting a faint red light. Zhenbao Building, let's go in and take a stroll. Looking at the plaque hanging on the gate of the palace and feeling the ancient aura it emitted, Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan walked in side by side. Because Jiao Yuyan was too beautiful and had an otherworldly temperament, when she walked into the Zhenbao Building, she immediately attracted many pairs of burning eyes, making her feel a little unnatural. Yuyan, don't mind them. Just treat them as dogs. Seeing Jiao Yuyan's unnatural expression, Yi Chunfeng smiled and transmitted his voice. Jiao Yuyan laughed out loud. Her smile could topple cities, making many people infatuated at this moment. Come, let's go up and take a stroll. The first floor was mixed with good and bad people. Yi Chunfeng didn't stay for long. Following a wooden staircase, he brought Jiao Yuyan to the second floor of the Zhenbao Building. Restriction: when they reached the entrance of the second floor, Yi Chunfeng saw a powerful restriction seal on the door. It seemed like without a certain level of strength, it was impossible to enter the second floor of the Zhenbao Building. Although the restriction on the second floor of the Zhenbao Building was powerful, it didn't affect Yi Chunfeng at all. With a single thought, the Sword Dao diagram appeared on his body and released boundless Sword Dao patterns. He directly tore open the restriction at the entrance and brought Jiao Yuyan into the second floor of the Zhenbao Building, which was filled with dense spirit qi and had significantly fewer people. However, Yi Chunfeng didn't stay on this floor. He followed the stairs to the third floor of the Zhenbao Building, tore open the restriction, and ascended to the fourth floor. What a powerful restriction! Those who were qualified to enter the fourth floor of the Zhenbao Building had to be at least a Class 6 Combat Beast Emperor. Feeling that the restriction on the fourth floor was significantly stronger, Yi Chunfeng didn't want to attract too much attention. He gave up on the idea of going to the fifth floor of the Zhenbao Building and prepared to exchange for some useful items here. Young master, young lady, is there anything I can help you with? The two of them stopped for a while on the fourth floor of the treasure tower. A woman with a graceful figure wearing a white lotus root Chong Sam slowly walked over. She had light makeup on and exuded the fragrance of cosmetic. She revealed a charming smile and spoke in a pleasant voice. I want to exchange for some mid-grade heaven crystals. Do you have any? There were too many experts in the Fire God City. In order to deal with any possible danger, Yi Chunfeng prepared to exchange for some mid-grade heaven crystals for the sword puppet in case of an emergency. The middle-grade heaven crystal Qipao woman smiled and introduced softly, mid-grade heaven crystals are extremely rare and valuable. We only exchange for them and don't sell them. Every mid-grade heaven crystal requires at least one mid-grade Dao tool or mid-grade Dao core to exchange. I wonder how many does young master need? Let's have 10 first. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a while and said in a rich and overbearing manner, Young master, young lady, please follow me. Hearing that Yi Chunfeng wanted to exchange for 10 mid-grade heaven crystals, the Chong Sam woman's smile grew wider. She brought them to a quiet and elegant room and personally poured 2 cups of spirit tea for the two of them. Young master, can you let me appraise young master's exchange items first? The Chong Sam woman asked in a pleasant voice. Her gentle voice made people feel very comfortable. Sure. Yi Chunfeng had killed many divination experts and obtained a large number of mid-grade Dao tools. He chose 10 useless mid-grade Dao tools and handed them to the Chong Sam woman. Feng Chen, why do you have so many mid-grade Dao tools? Looking at the high-quality mid-grade Dao tools in front of Yi Chunfeng, Jiao Yuyan opened her eyes wide and asked in surprise. Snatched. Yi Chunfeng winked at Jiao Yuyan and transmitted his voice. These 10 mid-grade Dao tools are of good quality. My Zhenbao building will exchange them with young master. After appraising the 10 mid-grade Dao tools that Yi Chunfeng took out one by one, the Cheongsam woman revealed a satisfied smile and said softly, "Young master, young lady, please wait for a moment. I will go and get the mid-grade heaven crystals for you." "Wait, do you sell low-grade heaven crystals?" Yi Chunfeng called out to her and asked. "Young master, please forgive us. Heaven crystals are extremely rare in the central world. Therefore, we only exchange low-grade heaven crystals. Each mid-grade Dao tool can be exchanged for 5 low-grade heaven crystals, and each low-grade Dao tool can be exchanged for 1 low-grade heaven crystal," the Cheongsam woman introduced enthusiastically. "Okay, then I will exchange for 20 low-grade heaven crystals." Yi Chunfeng took out 3 mid-grade Dao tools and 5 low-grade Dao tools and handed them to the Cheongsam woman. After a while, the Cheongsam woman took out 10 mid-grade and 20 low-grade heaven crystals and completed the exchange with Yi Chunfeng. After Yi Chunfeng obtained the heavenly crystal, he was enthusiastically introduced by the woman in the Cheongsam to him, and he bought several worldly spiritual herbs of extraordinary quality, as well as several dozen supreme-grade formation flags. He also gave Jiao Yuyan a protective talisman that was at the level of a mid-grade Taoist treasure. However, the 3 main ingredients for refining the heavenly saint-breaking pill were too rare, and the Zhenbao building did not have them. In the end, the Cheongsam woman personally sent off Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan, whose face was full of smiles, left. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11-19. Feng Chen, it's getting dark, let's go back. After strolling around the Fire God City, Jiao Yuyan, who was in a good mood, looked at Yi Chunfeng's chiseled face and asked softly, "No, let's go to the outskirts." Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed with a cold glint as he said softly, "All right, let's go to the outskirts then." Jiao Yuyan enjoyed the time she spent with Yi Chunfeng. Without thinking too much, she followed him to the outskirts. The Fire God City was really too big. When the two of them reached the outskirts, the sky was already dark. The sky was filled with stars. It was very beautiful. "Feng Chen, let's go there and look at the stars. When I was young, I loved to look at the stars." Jiao Yuyan pointed at a beautiful little hill in the outskirts of the Fire God City and suggested excitedly, "Yuyan, wait for me here, I'll be back soon." After saying that, Yi Chunfeng's body flashed, and he disappeared into a dense forest not far away from him. Very soon, he walked out of the forest with 3 delicate and beautiful flowers in his hand. He arrived at the side of the fairy-like Jiao Yuyan, who appeared even more otherworldly under the illumination of the moonlight. He gave the flowers to her, and then walked with her towards the small uninhabited mountain in the distance. Wang, the two of them had just walked to the small hill and found a smooth rock. They were lying on the rock, admiring the dreamy starry sky and enjoying the peaceful time. All of a sudden, beams of restrictive light lit up. In the next moment, a powerful restrictive light isolated the space around Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan, trapping them inside. "You guys are really in a good mood, coming here to look at the stars so late at night." A man wearing a black robe with cloud patterns appeared in the isolation barrier. He was waving a fan of beautiful women and had a malicious smile on his face. He brought 2 powerful guards who were level 6 beast emperors with him. This black-robed man was the one who was captivated by Jiao Yuyan's beauty in the Zhenbao building. "Who are you guys, what do you want to do?" Yi Chunfeng pretended to be surprised and said, shielding the nervous Jiao Yuyan behind him. "You don't deserve to know who we are. You only need to know that I have my eyes on your woman, so you must die." The black-clothed woman looked at Jiao Yuyan's incomparably beautiful face and tall figure with a fiery gaze. She spoke in a hedonistic manner. "My mother is the 9 heavens divine countries Wangtian Marquis. If you dare to harm us, my mother will never let you off. Sensing the strength of the black-clothed man's two followers, Jiao Yuyen immediately revealed her identity and background. Well, I didn't expect you to have such a big background. The man in black curled up the corner of his mouth and said playfully, I wanted to play with you enough and let you live. I wanted you to stay by my side and be my woman. But now it seems that I can't. You have to die too. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng, who seemed to be frightened, suddenly changed into a different person. He revealed a faint smile and calmly spoke. And, sensing a trace of sharpness in Yi Chunfeng's eyes, the man in black smelled a hint of danger. He took a step back and ordered, What are you all doing? Kill that man for me. It's the young master. Two burly guards in martial attire with the strength of a level 6 combat beast emperor obeyed the order. They took a step forward and a powerful force burst out from their bodies. In order to end the battle quickly, they transformed into their beast soul form and increased their strength to the limit. Die. The two guards roared and launched a deadly attack at Yi Chunfeng with a terrifying force. They wanted to kill Yi Chunfeng together. Buzz. Suddenly, an ear-piercing sound of a sword rang out. The ear-piercing sound made people's eardrums hurt. In the next moment, the ice dragon sword appeared in Yi Chunfeng's hand. His sword pierced through the air, and the bronze sword soul flew out and slashed at one of the guards. Under the sword, all the creatures in the world trembled. One sword shocked the heavens and the other shocked the immortals. Chi. One of the guards couldn't dodge in time, and was hit by Yi Chunfeng's sword. The bronze sword soul tore through his body's defense like a hot knife through butter and sent him flying. When he lost control of his body and crashed into the spatial restriction, his body suddenly split into two halves. A large amount of blood spurted out and he fell into a pool of blood and died. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng slashed again with his sword. The sword shook the heavens. A mighty Tao intent gushed out from the Emperor's sky sword and turned into a sword mountain with boundless power. It was as if it wanted to cut the space apart and slashed at the other guard who turned pale with fright. Feeling the destructive power in Yi Chunfeng's sword, the guard burned his blood and qi to stimulate his potential. He used his most powerful killing move to block the attack. Boom! 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 The two powerful attacks collided fiercely and exploded with earth-shattering sounds. The terrifying power was like a surging tide that swept across the surroundings and caused cracks to appear on the spatial restriction. Just as the guard tried his best to block Yi Chunfeng's sword, a bronze light flashed in front of his eyes. In the next moment, he realized that a large amount of blood was gushing out from his eyes. The entire world turned blood-red. Bang! His head was penetrated by the bronze sword soul. It was like a beautiful flower that bloomed in mid-air. Goo! After witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng killing two of his guards at lightning speed, the black-clothed man was scared silly. He gulped and quickly took out a sensor crystal and crushed it to call for help. I am warning you. My great-grandfather is an expert from Nirvana. He will be here soon. If you dare to hurt me, my great-grandfather will definitely turn you into ashes. The black-clothed man was scared out of his wits by Yi Chunfeng's strength and warned in fear. Sai, where is your awe-inspiring and domineering attitude? Aren't you very awesome? Why are you begging for mercy now? Yi Chunfeng said mockingly as he looked at the pale-faced black-clothed man, who was trembling uncontrollably as if he had gone crazy. I was wrong. As long as you let me go, I am willing to agree to any of your conditions. The black-clothed man was really scared and was afraid that Yi Chunfeng would kill him. He lowered his voice and begged for mercy. Not interested. Yi Chunfeng coldly spat out those 3 words. Those 3 words directly sentenced him to death. In the next moment, the purple dawn holy lightning shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body. It carried with it the power to destroy everything. It blew the black-clothed man's body apart. Let's go back. After putting away the remains of the black-clad man and the others, Yi Chunfeng tapped the node of the restriction, shattering the fragmented restriction space. Then, He brought the trembling Jiao Yuyan and prepared to leave. "Where do you think you're going?" A roar came from the distance. The black-clothed man's great-grandfather immediately rushed over after receiving the call for help. When he felt his great-grandson's aura disappear, a towering rage erupted from his chest. The fire Dao diagram appeared on his body and turned into a large hand that grabbed at Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yan. Suddenly, a sword of light soared into the sky. Its aura could swallow mountains and rivers. It tore through the void and caused everything to tremble. This sword seemed to pierce through heaven and earth. Everything was annihilated. This sword was like a mountain pressing down. It carried with it the power of mountains and rivers. Qi. The large hand formed by the fire Dao diagram was torn apart by this sword of light. The terrifying sword of light carried with it an invincible sword might and directly split the old man's body in half. A peerless powerhouse, a nirvana powerhouse, was instantly killed by this sword of light. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Collect button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:20. Many thanks for Senior's help. Yi Chunfeng looked at the dumbfounded Jiao Yuyan, who had been scared silly by the scene just now. He smiled and shouted into the dark night sky. Watermark advertisement test, watermark advertisement test. Let's go, Yuyan. This place is not easy to stay. And good. Jiao Yuyan gulped and immediately flew back to Fire God City with Yi Chunfeng. When they passed by a pitch-black mountain forest, Yi Chunfeng put away the sword spirit puppet, which had fused with a large number of heavenly crystals and had the strength of a 2-star Dao saint, into the universe mirror. Yuyan, what happened just now was quite serious. It might involve a dispute between some big shot. Don't tell your mother about it, lest she worry and cause a series of unnecessary troubles. On the way back to the inn, Yi Chunfeng softly exhorted. Okay, I'll listen to you. The still shaken Jiao Yuyan nodded and obediently said. When Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan left the outskirts, many of the big shots in Fire God City were alarmed by the sword puppet's shocking strike. They all came to the outskirts to check what happened. When they saw the corpse split in half by the sword puppet, as well as the hill that was split in half, they sucked in a breath of cold air. They all guessed which supreme expert had made a move to cause such destruction. This night was not calm. Clouds rose in all directions, but Yi Chunfeng, who had returned to the inn, was as calm as still water. He endured the pain in his soul and continued to cultivate the undying soul technique, tempering his soul. Very quickly, the stormy night passed. Let's go, I'll bring you to the Ninefold Flame Cave. I hope you can gain something there. Early in the morning, Wangtian Marquis called Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan over and brought them to one of the forbidden areas of Fire God City, the Ninefold Flame Cave. On the way to the Ninefold Flame Caves, Yi Chunfeng heard many people discussing what happened in the outskirts last night. However, Yi Chunfeng's expression did not change, not revealing a trace of surprise. Jiao Yuyan was slightly nervous, but it did not arouse Wangtian Marquis' suspicion. They had finally arrived. In front of them was one of the forbidden grounds of the Fire God City, the 9-layered Inferno. A few days ago, the Sky Hall had opened this place. As long as one paid enough Heaven Pavilion points, one could enter and capture the flames. Yi Chunfeng and his companion followed Wangtian Marquis through several dozen streets. After walking for around 4 hours, they arrived outside a fiery red palace shrouded in a terrifying seal. Before they even entered the palace, Yi Chunfeng could already feel waves of heat assaulting him as the temperature in the air continued to rise. Although the points required to enter the Ninefold Flame Cave were frighteningly high, many people still took advantage of the opening of the Ninefold Flame Cave to enter in search of great opportunities and capture spiritual and heavenly flames. A lot of aces. As Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan stood outside the fiery red palace, waiting for Wang Tian Marquis to hand in his points. They saw many powerful experts passing through the restrictions with fiery red tokens in their hands and entering the fiery red palace. Among them, a man with long fiery red hair, a figure as tall and straight as a steel spear, and a trace of arrogance between his eyebrows caught Yi Qinfeng's attention. Although the man was only a 5th-grade combat beast emperor, when Yi Qinfeng saw him, he smelled a strong sense of danger from him. Obviously, this man was a peerless monster who could kill enemies several levels higher. After about half an incense stick's worth of time, Wang Tian Marquis came over with 2 fiery tokens and handed them to the 2 of them, exhorting, Feng Chen, Yener, you must be extremely careful in the 9-fold flame cave. Remember not to be reckless. Also, you can fight in the 9-fold flame cave. You must be wary of sneak attacks from outsiders. If your life is in danger, immediately crush this heavenly fire token. The teleportation power contained in the token will teleport you out. Also, there is a time limit in the 9-fold flame cave. No matter what level an expert is, they can only stay in there for 3 days. After 3 days, they will be teleported out. Rest assured, Marquis, we will be careful. Yi Qinfeng nodded. Holding the heavenly fire token, he and Jiao Yuyan easily passed through the restriction that enveloped the fiery red palace and entered inside. When they stepped on the extremely hot stairs and entered the red palace, a wave of scorching heat hit them in the face. As far as the eye could see, the entire space was burning fiercely like a vast sea of fire. The scorching heat distorted the air, making it difficult for people to breathe. Yu Yan, control your blue Luan flame to protect your body. This way, you can resist the flame attacks in the 9-fold flame cave. Yi Qinfeng looked at Jiao Yuyan, who was having difficulty breathing and whose face was flushed, and softly exhorted her. Okay. Jiao Yuyan nodded. Controlling the blue Luan flame, she wrapped her delicate body and followed Yi Qinfeng into the 9-fold flame cave, which was burning with crimson flames. Yu Yan, according to my understanding, heavenly flames will not appear in the first 3 levels of the 9-fold flame cave. Let's go directly to the 4th level. In order to save time, Yi Qinfeng decided to go directly to the 4th level of the 9-fold flame cave and capture heavenly flames for Jiao Yuyan. Then, he would enter the deepest part of the 9-fold flame cave alone and capture the mysterious sacred flame. Jiao Yuyan nodded and followed closely behind Yi Qinfeng, flying into the depths of the 1st level of the 9-fold flame cave. The 2 of them continued to speed up, entering the depths of the 9-fold flame cave, searching for the entrance to the 2nd level of the 9-fold flame cave. As they went deeper, the color of the crimson flames constantly changed, from crimson to deep red, and the temperature became even hotter. Even with the blue Luan flame protecting her body, Jiao Yuyan still felt a burning sensation on her skin. The entrance to the 2nd level was there. The 2 quickly went deeper into the 9-fold flame cave for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Yi Qinfeng's powerful soul found the entrance to the 2nd level. He immediately held Jiao Yuyan's soft and smooth hand, passing through the sea of flames and quickly flying over. When they reached the 2nd level of the 9-fold flame cave, Yi Qinfeng found that the flames in the 9-fold flame cave had turned yellow. The terrifying flames were constantly suppressing the blue Luan flame protecting Jiao Yuyan's body, burning her skin, making her feel as if her skin and flesh were being torn apart. Just as she clenched her teeth and bitterly endured, she suddenly felt a heart-penetrating chill coming from Yi Qinfeng's palm, instantly spreading throughout her body, dispersing the burning sensation on the surface of her body. Are you feeling better now? Yi Qinfeng looked at Jiao Yuyan, who let out a long sigh of relief, and asked with a faint smile. Much better. Jiao Yuyan revealed a sweet smile, tightly holding Yi Qinfeng's big hand, and followed him into the depths of the 2nd level of the 9-fold flame cave, looking for the entrance to the 3rd level of the 9-fold flame cave. While looking for the entrance, Yi Qinfeng found a lot of fist-sized fire spirits in the 2nd level of the 9-fold flame cave. They were as agile as rabbits, and their flying speed was extremely fast. If he could capture these fire spirits and merge them with his subdued flames, it would increase the power and quality of his own flames. However, there weren't many fire spirits in the second level of the Ninefold Flame Cave. Adding on to the fact that there were many people fighting over them, Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any time. Holding Jiao Yuyan's soft and smooth hand, they quickly found the entrance to the third level of the Ninefold Flame Cave. Under the protection of Yi Chunfeng's dual-polar ancient heavenly water, Jiao Yuyan entered the third level of the Ninefold Flame Cave, where the temperature was rising rapidly, without feeling any discomfort. She followed closely behind Yi Chunfeng, flying quickly in the third level of the Ninefold Flame Cave. Finally, after spending several hours, they passed through the green sea of flames that was enough to burn ordinary beast emperors to death, and arrived at the fourth level of the Ninefold Flame Cave, where the danger level was rising rapidly. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:21. The Ninefold Inferno Cavern is indeed magical. The temperature of the flames in this fourfold Inferno Cavern is close to the level of heavenly flames. After entering the fourth layer of flames, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the flames in the fourth layer of flames had turned into a demonic purple color. The temperature of the flames was also close to the level of heavenly flames. If an ordinary person entered this place, they would instantly turn into ashes. Yuyan, use the amulet I bought for you to protect yourself. Don't let the flames invade your body. Otherwise, your internal organs will melt in an instant. Yi Chunfeng knew how terrifying heavenly flames were. If he didn't have a divine item like the Chaos Divine Wood, he wouldn't have been able to subdue the heavenly flames with his strength. Moreover, Jiao Yuyan's physical body wasn't strong. If the purple flames invaded her body, the consequences would be unimaginable. Jiao Yuyan nodded and took out a jade-shaped amulet. She bit her finger and dripped a drop of blood essence into the amulet. She activated the amulet's power and wore it around her neck. On the surface of her body, a layer of defensive light formed, blocking the heavenly flames from invading her body. Let's go and find the heavenly flames. I hope there are some on this floor. Seeing that the amulet's power had completely isolated the heavenly flames, Yi Chunfeng felt relieved. He brought Jiao Yuyan into the fourfold Inferno Cavern to search for the heavenly flames. After entering the fourfold Inferno Cavern, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the number of cultivators here had decreased significantly. Moreover, the cultivators he encountered were all extraordinary and had powerful trump cards. In the fourfold Inferno Cavern, Yi Chunfeng encountered many powerful cultivators and also found two types of extremely high-quality spiritual fire. However, in the Inferno Cavern, each person could only subdue one type of fire seed. The spiritual fire was of little use to Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan. Therefore, Yi Chunfeng didn't try to subdue it and continued to search for the heavenly flames. Whoosh! When Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan released their soul spirits to search for the heavenly flames, a fiery red light flashed in front of their eyes. Looking at the fire spirit that was flying at an extremely fast speed like a shooting star, Yi Chunfeng pointed his finger and the dual polarity ancient heavenly water shot out. It turned into a water ball and swallowed the fire spirit. After being swallowed by the dual extreme ancient heavenly water, the fire spirit that had just gained intelligence immediately attacked, wanting to break free. However, the dual extreme ancient heavenly water was close to the limit of heavenly water, completely restraining the fire spirit. Withdraw. Under the control of Yi Chunfeng's mind, the ball of water formed by the dual polarity ancient heavenly water quickly shrank. In the end, it froze the fire spirit that it had devoured. Yu Yen, this fire spirit is for you. Although the fire spirit was precious, It was very difficult to increase the quality of the death blaze skyfire. Yi Chunfeng generously gave this fire spirit to Jiao Yuyan. Thank you. Jiao Yuyan looked at Yi Chunfeng with a gentle gaze and smiled. After capturing the fire spirit, Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan continued to go deeper into the fourfold inferno. They captured the fire spirits nurtured in the fourfold inferno while searching for the precious heavenly flames. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul sensed waves of berserk energy rolling violently in a deep purple sea of fire not far in front of him. Intense battle. Let's go and take a look. Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows, and he immediately passed through the surging deep purple sea of flames with Jiao Yuyan. In the center of the chaotic sea of flames, he saw a familiar figure fighting against a ball of flames that was about half a person's height, and it was completely white in color. That ball of bone-white flames was the heavenly flame that Yi Chunfeng had painstakingly searched for Jiao Yuyan. It's actually him? Through the purple flames, Jiao Yuyan saw the powerful figure shrouded in ice-cold blue light. She revealed a grave expression. Because she saw that the person fighting with the bone-white heavenly flame was Yong Tianho's son, Shao Tianyan, the #1 genius of Yong Tianho's Yong Tianho. I didn't expect Shao Tianyan to be a peerless genius. With his strength as a rank 4 combat beast emperor, he was able to completely suppress the attack of the bone-white heavenly flame. Yi Chunfeng revealed a playful smile as he looked at Shao Tianyan, who had transformed into a beast soul and possessed astonishing battle prowess. He wielded a dragon-head-long spear and created a sea of flames. He was like a roaring dragon that countered the attacks of the bone-white heavenly flames. Jiao Yuyan, I didn't expect you to come knocking on my door. When Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan appeared, Shao Tianyan, who possessed extraordinary strength, immediately sensed them. However, he didn't reveal any panic on his face. Instead, he revealed a trace of killing intent. In his opinion, with his strength, he could completely control the life and death of Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan. He was prepared to forcefully subdue the bone-white heavenly flame before dealing with Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan. However, he didn't know that Yi Chunfeng had the same idea as him. Wait for me here. Just as Shao Tianyan was immersed in a beautiful illusion and wanted to subdue the heavenly flame before killing Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan, his vision suddenly blurred. Yi Chunfeng suddenly appeared in front of him. You're courting death. When Shao Tianyan saw Yi Chunfeng suddenly appear, killing intent flashed in his eyes. He decisively gave up on attacking the bone-white heavenly flame. He flipped the dragon-head-long spear in his hand and stabbed it at Yi Chunfeng at close range. Looking at the dragon-head-long spear that pierced through the sea of flames and turned into a stream of light, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He extended a finger, shattering the flames and met the attack head-on. Chi! The incomparably sharp tip of the spear pierced Yi Chunfeng's finger, causing ripples of energy to surge out. Under the attack of Yi Chunfeng's finger that had fused with the bead of death and erupted with a force of 100 million jin, the dragon-head-long spear's handle instantly bent. Ear-piercing cracking sounds came from the tip of the spear, shocking Shao Tianyan so much that his eyeballs almost fell out. How is this possible? How can this guy be so powerful? Shao Tianyan's heart trembled as he looked at the constantly cracking tip of the spear and felt the backlash from the handle. He decisively summoned a mountain-shaped Dao treasure and slammed it towards Yi Chunfeng's head. Sky-splitting hand. When the mountain-shaped Tao treasure came crashing over, Yi Chunfeng's left hand slapped out across the air. Numerous wills of the Great Path erupted at the same time, condensing into a giant hand that could tear apart the sky. With unparalleled destructive power, it sent the mountain-shaped Tao treasure flying with a single palm strike, suppressing the shocked Shao Tianyan. Boom! The sky-splitting hand landed. Shao Tianyan was viciously slammed into the ground by the shockingly powerful sky-splitting hand. The sound of bones shattering rang out from his body. The blood that spurted out from his body was instantly vaporized by the deep purple flames. Scorching purple flames wildly surged into his body through the cracks all over his body, burning his flesh and organs. He roared in pain. With his life hanging by a thread, Xiao Tianyan immediately took out the heaven fire insignia, wanting to crush it and escape. However, Yi Chunfeng did not give him a chance to escape. The bronze sword soul flew out and directly tore through the violently tumbling sea of flames. It turned into an invincible divine sword and slashed towards his body. "No, you can't kill me." Xiao Tianyan's pupils constricted. He desperately wanted to crush the heaven fire insignia, but the bronze sword soul's attack speed was too fast. Before the heaven fire insignia could be crushed, it cut through his body's defense and split him in half from head to toe. He died on the spot. When Xiao Tianyan was killed by Yi Chunfeng with the help of the bronze sword soul, the deep purple flames comparable to the heaven fire immediately melted his body. A genius of a generation died and turned into ashes. Mobile reading home, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:22. Feng Chen, you killed him. Seeing the scene of Yi Chunfeng killing Xiao Tianyan, Jiao Yuyan was stunned. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Although Yong Tianhou had many sons, Xiao Tianyan was known as the #1 genius of Yong Tianhou, and he had high hopes for him. Jiao Yuyan didn't dare to imagine how furious Yong Tianhou would be when he found out that Xiao Tianyan had died in the Ninefold Inferno Cave. Xiao Tianyan was killed by the heavenly flame. What does that have to do with us? Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and said softly as he looked at Jiao Yuyan, whose face paled and heart could not calm down. Seeing the crafty look in Yi Chunfeng's eyes, Jiao Yuyan smiled and nodded in agreement. Yes, that's right. The Ninefold Inferno Cave is filled with danger. Xiao Tianyan was not strong enough and was killed by the heavenly flame. We didn't know about this. Whoosh. The heavenly flame was extremely intelligent. After seeing Yi Chunfeng kill Xiao Tianyan, it immediately turned into a fiery shadow and flew towards the end of the purple sea of flames. You want to run? That's not so easy. Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. He stepped out with his sword and tore apart the sea of flames, intercepting the bone-white heavenly flame. After being intercepted by Yi Chunfeng, the bone-white heavenly flame immediately compressed its heavenly flame body to the extreme and turned into an extremely thin fire needle, stabbing towards Yi Chunfeng's chest. Facing the fatal attack of the bone-white heavenly flame, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the bronze sword soul to meet it. Chi! The moment the bone-white fire needle collided with the bronze sword soul, the bronze sword soul released boundless sword might and directly pierced through the bone-white heavenly flame, causing it to explode. In the next moment, the soul power in Yi Chunfeng's mind exploded, forming a powerful dizziness. Like a meteor shower, it ruthlessly attacked the spirit of the bone-white heavenly flame, trying to forcefully erase it. Under Yi Chunfeng's soul attack, which was comparable to a 2-star Dao Saint's soul attack, the white bone heavenly flame's intelligence grew weaker and weaker. Furthermore, its counterattack could not cause any damage to Yi Chunfeng at all. It was completely blocked by Yi Chunfeng's body, which was comparable to a high-grade Dao artifact. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng's continuous use of the stun spell finally wiped out the white bone heavenly fire's intelligence, turning it into a ball of heavenly fire without any consciousness. Yu Yan, let's quickly leave this place and return to the 3rd level. I will help you fuse with the heavenly flames. Yi Chunfeng stretched out his hand, and countless great Dao wills gushed out, imprisoning the bone-white heavenly flames. He then brought Jiao Yuyan away from this extremely hot sea of purple flames and returned to the relatively colder triple-layer fire cavern. They found a relatively remote place. Yu Yan, quickly break the blood contract with your blue Luan flame. With your strength and constitution, you still can't merge the two great flames into one. Jiao Yuyan's strength was limited, so she couldn't subdue two great flames at the same time. If she wanted to subdue the bone-white heavenly flame, she would have to give up the blue Luan flame that she had subdued earlier. All right. Although the blue Luan flame was precious, it was far from being comparable to the bone-white heavenly flames. She didn't hesitate to break the blood contract with the blue Luan flame that she regarded as her life. Ice seal. The blue Luan flame became an ownerless object, and Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the dual extreme ancient heavenly water to seal it in ice, storing it in the universe mirror. Yu Yen, drip your essence blood into this bone-white heavenly flame, and try to make it recognize you as its master. Yi Chunfeng took out the bone-white heavenly flame, placed it in front of Jiao Yuyan, and said in a soft voice, "All right." Jiao Yuyan took a deep breath, bit her finger, and squeezed out a drop of essence blood, dripping it into the bone-white heavenly flame that had just recovered its original form. All of a sudden, the bone-white heavenly flame released a boundless power, and the fist-sized bone-white heavenly flame burned fiercely, releasing a terrifying heat that burned the space. Jiao Yuyan's face turned red, and her skin started to hurt. If it weren't for the protective talisman protecting Jiao Yuyan's body, the sudden heat from the bone-white heavenly flame would have been enough to melt her skin. Yu Yan, don't stop, continue dripping your essence blood until this bone-white heavenly flame recognizes you. Feeling that the essence blood dripped by Jiao Yuyan was instantly refined by the bone-white heavenly flame, Yi Chunfeng continued. 1 drop, 5 drops, 10 drops. Jiao Yuyan didn't hesitate to drip 32 drops of essence blood into the bone-white heavenly flame, and the bone-white heavenly flame's resistance began to decrease. Slowly, Jiao Yuyan's essence blood began to fuse with the bone-white heavenly flame, and she finally recognized it as its master. Success! I finally recognized this heavenly flame as its master. After consuming nearly 40 drops of essence blood, Jiao Yuyan's face turned pale, but after the bone-white heavenly flame recognized her as its master, she still revealed a very happy expression, and information about the bone-white heavenly flame appeared in her mind. Cold solitude heavenly flame, a heavenly flame born from extreme coldness. The flame contains a trace of coldness. After learning about the mysteries of the cold solitude heavenly flame, Jiao Yuyan was overjoyed. Although the cold solitude heavenly flame wasn't the highest quality heavenly flame, to an alchemist, the temptation of the cold solitude heavenly flame was even more fatal than a top-grade heavenly flame. The trace of coldness in the cold solitude heavenly flame would definitely increase the speed and success rate of pill condensation. If she could refine the cold solitude heavenly flame into her body, she would definitely be able to refine a top-grade Dao pill by borrowing the power of the cold solitude heavenly flame, and the success rate wouldn't be low. Dripping your blood to recognize it as your master is only the first step. Whether you can fuse with it or not is the most crucial step. The process of fusing with the heavenly flame might be a little painful. You must endure it, or you will fail at the last step. Yi Chunfeng looked at the pale Jiao Yuyan and warned her softly. "Don't worry about me, I can endure it." Jiao Yuyan bit her lips tightly and said with a firm tone, "Come, drink this." Yi Chunfeng took out a small bottle of 10,000 years spiritual milk and let her drink it, slightly recovering her lost blood and qi. A thick layer of energy formed in her meridians, so that she wouldn't be injured by the scorching energy when she was fusing with the heavenly flame. Just as Jiao Yuyan was preparing to fuse with the cold solitude heavenly flame, a white-haired old man with a youthful complexion, but a trace of viciousness between his eyebrows, a beautiful young woman wearing a Taoist robe with phoenix patterns and a large collar, revealing her snow-white skin and seductive cleavage, and a 9-foot-tall man with thick black hair all sensed the aura of the cold solitude heavenly flame, and quickly approached. Heavenly flame, it really is the heavenly flame. Looking at the cold solitude heavenly flame floating in front of Jiao Yuyan, the white-haired old man and the other two revealed a trace of excitement. If they could subdue the heavenly flame, they believed that they would definitely be able to shine in the upcoming Sky Palace competition and obtain glory that they didn't dare to imagine before. Yi Chunfeng glanced at the white-haired old man and the other two with the corner of his eyes and said softly, "All right, let's begin. I will protect you. You only need to do your best to fuse with the cold solitude heavenly flame." "All right." Jiao Yuyan knew Yi Chunfeng's strength very well, so she nodded lightly. She opened her rosy little mouth and swallowed the cold solitude heavenly flame into her stomach, trying to fuse it into her body. "How dare you!" Seeing Jiao Yuyan swallow the cold solitude heavenly flame into her body, the white-haired old man and the other two were instantly enraged. 3 powerful auras burst out from their bodies, causing the sea of fire to surge violently and oppress Yi Chunfeng and Jiao Yuyan. Seeing that the cold solitude heavenly flame was being attacked by the 3 powerful auras, Yi Chunfeng decisively stood in front of her and used his body to block the 3 terrifying auras for her. "Interesting, I didn't expect that with your strength of a level 4 Beast Emperor, you would be able to block the auras of the 3 of us. You are really not simple." The burly man who looked like an iron tower cracked open his mouth and revealed a cruel smile as he said, "I don't want to kill anyone. Get lost before I get angry." Yi Chunfeng's eyes emitted an aura that said, "Who else but me can do it?" As if he was an invincible sword god, as he warned in an overbearing manner. I will post Jiao Yuyan's picture this weekend, and I will post Heaven Plucking next week. Those who want to see it, please add my WeChat account, YLTY83 mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:23. Hee, what an interesting little fellow, even this elder sister is not willing to kill you. The beautiful young woman looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was standing proudly with his back straight, and let out a series of crisp laughter. Her ample bosom rose and fell one after another, looking extremely charming. Although Yi Chunfeng's aura was astonishing, the white-haired old man and the other two did not put him in their eyes at all after sensing his strength as a level 4 Beast Emperor. They even treated his warning as a passing wind. "I'll count to 3, if you don't scram, then leave your lives behind." With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned dozens of top-grade formation flags, forming the 100 killing array and enveloping Jiao Yuyan, who was enduring the pain and slowly merging with the desolate heavenly flame, as he warned them with cold killing intent. Courting death, the hot-tempered burly man roared as his entire body erupted with astonishing strength. Like a furious beast, he waved a mid-grade Dao staff that was as thick as a baby's arm and had a large number of engravings on it, and whipped it towards Yi Chunfeng with a force that could split Mount Hua. The burly man was a level 5 Beast Emperor, and he was born with godly strength. Even an ordinary level 6 Beast Emperor would not dare to receive his attack head-on. However, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was far superior to his, and his strength was far beyond his reach. Facing the mid-grade Dao staff that was whipping towards him, Yi Chunfeng stood within the sea of flames and stretched out his right hand to grab it. Courting death, seeing Yi Chunfeng's action, the burly man felt extremely humiliated. During the process of his attack, he continuously increased the power of his staff, wanting to whip Yi Chunfeng into meat paste. Bang! The burly man's staff ruthlessly whipped Yi Chunfeng's palm. Following that, a powerful rebounding force was transmitted from Yi Chunfeng's palm, making him feel as if he was whipping dark steel. He almost lost his grip on the trembling mid-grade Dao staff. "Since you don't cherish your lives, then let me send you to the Western Paradise." As he spoke, the holy lightning of purple beginnings shot out from Yi Chunfeng's mouth, and it transformed into a violent lightning bolt that fiercely blasted towards the robust man whose expression had changed greatly. Although he defended with all his might, he was still unable to withstand the attack of the Purple Dawn's sacred lightning. He was violently sent flying, falling heavily into the sea of fire. His entire chest was charred black, and he was heavily injured. If it wasn't for the fact that the burly man's defense was stronger than an ordinary person's, this attack would have been enough to shatter his body. What level of thunder is this? Witnessing the scene of the holy thunder of purple beginnings sending the burly man flying, the white-haired old man and his companions' pupils constricted, and the way they looked at Yi Chunfeng changed greatly. Set up a formation and use a formation against him. Realizing that Yi Chunfeng was not easy to deal with, the white-haired old man took out a powerful array diagram that floated above his head. He wanted to borrow the might of the array diagram to kill Yi Chunfeng. It seems that the three of you are just rogue cultivators. This trump card is too shabby. Yi Chunfeng glanced at the array diagram that the white-haired old man had taken out. His expression did not change at all as he spoke coldly. "Brat, don't be so arrogant. Today we will destroy you." The white-haired old man and his companions were extremely coordinated. They quickly entered the formation, borrowing the array diagram above their heads to fuse their powers and increase their strength. Heavenly Exalt Bloodline Burn. Yi Chunfeng did not want to waste any time. He quickly burned his Heavenly Exalt Bloodline and used the power of the heavens in the air to fuse into his body, increasing his strength. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng used the sword steps, tearing through the sea of fire with a single step. He appeared before the white-haired old man and his companions with a single step. He circulated the clear sky art and formed a shockingly powerful blue sky seal. He struck out with the seal, and inscriptions of the great Tao appeared on his body. They quickly condensed into a blue sky seal that seemed to contain the world. Like a huge dragon, it shot toward the three people who had fused into the array diagram. Sensing the destructive power of the blue sky seal, the expressions of the white-haired old man and his companions changed slightly. They circulated the array diagram at the same time, releasing countless inscriptions that shot forward. Rumble, rumble, the two formidable Tao skills collided and a terrifying power erupted within the sea of flames. A world-shaking explosion rang out, spreading across a radius of tens of li. The faces of the cultivators within the triple flaming cave sank sharply, and they turned to look at the battle. Heavenly Tao Disc. After that attack, the Tao diagram of life and death and the Tao diagram of 5 elements appeared behind Yi Chunfeng. When the two Tao diagrams merged together, they turned into a heavenly Tao disc that looked like a black hole. It continued to attack the white-haired old man, whose expression had changed greatly. Wherever the heavenly Tao disc passed, the world shook and space changed. It was a terrifying sight. When one faced this seal, they felt insignificant and helpless. Array diagram defense. The white-haired old man and his companions never thought that Yi Chunfeng would have cultivated 2 great Tao diagrams. Their hearts trembled. Without hesitation, they controlled the Tao diagrams above their heads to defend against the heavenly Tao disc's destructive strike. Gotcha! Under the attack of the heavenly Tao disc's 2 great Tao diagrams, the array diagram fused with the white-haired old man and his companions' Tao intense crack. Cracks spread out at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the end, the array diagram fused with the power of the 3 people shattered. The white-haired old man and his companions spat out a mouthful of blood and were sent flying. Go! After witnessing how terrifying Yi Chunfeng was, the white-haired old man was scared out of his wits. He didn't dare to stay any longer and wanted to quickly escape. However, the moment they tried to escape with all their might, a dizzying force smashed into their soul like a heavy hammer, causing their soul to tremble and produce a strong sense of dizziness. In the next moment, the Emperor Heaven's sword appeared in Yi Chunfeng's hand. He fused with the power of the bronze sword soul and slashed out. The sword tore apart the sea of fire and swept through everything. It slashed towards the white-haired old man and his companions, who had stopped reacting. The sword shook the sky, and the golden flames in the 3 levels of fire paled in comparison. The terrifying sword power shocked many people who took the risk to get close. It also made the white-haired old man and his companions, who had regained their senses, fall into despair and fear. Chi! The sword light slashed open the bodies of the 3 people like a hot knife through butter. Even their souls were annihilated by this sword. Anyone who dared to approach this place without permission would die. After killing the 3 people with a single sword, Yi Chunfeng took away their belongings and the 3 balls of spirit fire that were floating in the sea of fire. He looked sharply at the surrounding cultivators who were hiding in the sea of fire and warned them with a murderous aura. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's warning, the cultivators who were hiding in the surroundings were scared out of their wits. Soon, the area where Yi Chunfeng was at became a forbidden zone, and no one dared to approach. After intimidating the cultivators in the 3 levels of fire, Yi Chunfeng withdrew the 100-kill array that was enveloping Jiao Yuan. He sat cross-legged beside her and continued to protect her. Although the difficulty of fusing with the solitary heavenly fire was not small, Jiao Yuan relied on the protection of the 10,000-year spirit milk to endure the most difficult and painful moment. She started to fuse with the solitary heavenly fire. At this moment, an entire day had passed. After calculating the time, Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to wake up Jiao Yuan, who was fusing with the solitary heavenly fire. Yuan, time is limited. I need to enter the depths of the 9 levels of fire to capture the heavenly fire. During the safe period, you should go outside and fuse with the solitary heavenly fire. Now that you are fusing with the solitary heavenly fire, going outside will not affect your fusion. Yi Chunfeng said softly when he felt that Jiao Yuan was fusing with the solitary heavenly fire. Feng Chen, be careful. I will wait for you outside. You must come out safely. Jiao Yuan nodded and stopped fusing with the solitary heavenly fire. She said softly and crushed the heavenly fire writ, teleporting away from the 3 levels of fire. After Jiao Yuan teleported away, Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any more time. Stepping on the cloud-rushing boots, he raised his speed to the peak and rushed through the sea of flames. Very soon, he passed through the 3rd layer fire cave, the 4th layer fire cave, and entered the 5th layer fire cave, where the power of the flames increased by several folds. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:24. Blue flames comparable to heavenly fire. Looking at the blazing blue flames in the 5-fold cavern, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but reveal a grave expression. He circulated the golden body secrets and covered his body with a thin layer of defensive golden light, increasing his defense. He rushed into the blue sea of flames and rapidly flew through the sea of flames. Fire spirits. There were actually so many fire spirits in the 5-fold cavern. Yi Chunfeng raised his speed to the peak. As he passed through the increasingly powerful blue sea of flames, he discovered many fire spirits in the sea of flames. He immediately controlled the dual polarity ancient heavenly water to subdue them. Under the suppression of the dual polarity ancient heavenly water, the fire spirits were easily subdued and imprisoned by Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng captured the fire spirits while searching for the entrance to the 6-fold cavern of flames. After searching for nearly 4 hours, he finally found the entrance to the 6-fold cavern of flames within the sea of blue flames. During this time, he also subdued 6 groups of fire spirit. After entering the 6-fold flame cavern, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the flames here had turned into a dark gray color. The power of the flames also surpassed that of ordinary heavenly flames. When he entered this place, the defensive golden light that covered his entire body was burned out of shape. The surface of his skin produced a slight burning sensation. Heavenly fire, A heavenly fire in the shape of a lotus Yi Qinfeng flew through the sixfold cavern, where the temperature was so high that it could melt a top-grade heaven artifact. After flying for an incense stick's worth of time, he discovered a dark green lotus in the shape of a lotus. It slowly bloomed and was extremely beautiful. How was this ninefold cavern formed? It actually gave birth to so many heavenly fires. Heavenly fires were extremely rare and were almost extinct in the Duhan continent. However, this ninefold cavern was able to give birth to heavenly fires. This made Yi Qinfeng very surprised. He suspected that the ninefold cavern might have come from the heaven domain. Although the quality of this lotus-shaped heavenly fire in front of him was the desolate heavenly fire, Yi Qinfeng's goal was the saint flame. He decisively gave up on it and flew at extreme speed, searching for the entrance to the sevenfold cavern. Someone was there. When Yi Qinfeng completely radiated his soul spirit to search for the entrance to the sevenfold cavern, he suddenly felt a powerful aura moving in the sea of flames not far in front of him. Nirvana masters. When Yi Qinfeng sensed the cultivation level of the person in front of him, he hesitated for a moment. He didn't dare to approach on his own accord. He wanted to go around. However, when the Nirvana expert in the distance sensed Yi Qinfeng's aura, he suddenly accelerated and flew towards him. A woman looking at the rapidly approaching Nirvana expert shrouded in blue light, Yi Qinfeng revealed a stunned expression. The tight black martial arts skirt wrapped around her voluptuous body, showing off her curve. Her legs were as white as jade, and her delicate calves outlined an enchanting curve that extended all the way to a pair of delicate leather boots. However, what attracted Yi Qinfeng the most was not her figure. Instead, it was her mesmerizing face. She had a pair of watery blue eyes that emitted an alluring light. Her alluring red lips were like a ball of fire that attracted people's eyes. Yi Qinfeng looked at the woman in black who was rapidly approaching from afar. This woman was also secretly sizing up Yi Qinfeng. When she sensed that Yi Qinfeng was only a level 4 beast emperor, she was obviously stunned and revealed a trace of surprise. She was obviously a little surprised that with Yi Qinfeng's strength, he dared to enter the sixfold cavern. Looking at the woman in black who was getting closer and closer, Yi Qinfeng didn't want to have anything to do with her. His body flashed, wanting to leave. "Young master, please wait a moment." At this time, a pleasant voice entered Yi Qinfeng's ears, calling out softly, "What's the matter?" Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly, looking at the woman in black in the blue light, and asked through telepathy, "Young master, I would like to ask you for a favor. As long as you agree, I will give you 3 top-grade Dao cores." The woman in black revealed a charming smile, and replied through telepathy, "What favor?" Yi Qinfeng looked at her seductive face and asked in a low voice, "I found a strange spiritual object in the sixfold cavern, and I would like to ask for your help to subdue it. As long as you are willing to help, after the matter is settled, not only will I give you 3 top-grade Dao cores, I will also agree to a small request of yours." The woman in black blinked her charming big eyes at Yi Qinfeng and said seductively. Although Yi Qinfeng's realm wasn't high, he could come and go freely in the sixfold cavern, causing the woman in black to have a strong interest in him. What kind of strange spiritual object was it? To be able to ignore the high temperature, a spiritual object that grew in the sixfold cavern was definitely not an ordinary object. This caused Yi Qinfeng to reveal a trace of interest, so he asked. It was a lotus with golden leaves, but around the lotus, there were 3 heavenly fires protecting it. If one wanted to pick the lotus, they would have to chase away the 3 heavenly fires. In order to arouse Yi Qinfeng's interest, the woman in black spoke without concealing anything. Golden leaf lotus. Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. He guessed what the spiritual object the woman in black spoke of was. The golden leaf lotus was a legendary object. It could only grow in a scorching space after countless years of nurturing. It could be said to be extremely precious. Because the golden leaf lotus was nurtured in flames, its most precious aspect was not to refine pills or increase one's strength, but its ability to restrain heavenly punishment and the heaven domain gate. And because the golden leaf lotus could restrain the power of thunder that filled the heaven domain gate, it was one of the favorite spiritual objects of Nirvana realm experts. I didn't expect young master to be so knowledgeable. The object I found was indeed the golden leaf lotus. The woman in black's eyes revealed a trace of seduction. She said coquettishly, "I don't know if young master is willing to help me chase away the 3 heavenly fires protecting the golden leaf lotus. If young master is willing, I promise to help young master subdue another heavenly fire." Yi Chunfeng felt the charm from the woman in black's body. He only felt a ball of fire rising in his lower abdomen. He hurriedly guarded his heart and dispelled the strange feeling in his heart. He said lightly, "Let's go, take me to have a look." "Okay." Seeing Yi Chunfeng's clear eyes not being charmed by her, the woman in black revealed a trace of surprise. Without hesitation, she immediately took Yi Chunfeng to the place where the golden leaf lotus grew. "Young master, I don't know which big power you are from." The woman in black saw that Yi Chunfeng used only a layer of golden light and his body to resist the burning of the dark gray flame. She wanted to know his background. "I don't belong to any sect, I'm just a rogue cultivator," Yi Chunfeng replied lightly. The rogue cultivator in black's heart moved. She revealed a thought-provoking smile and didn't say anything else. Passing through the increasingly hot dark gray sea of fire, Yi Chunfeng and the woman in black found an extremely dangerous underground fire pit in the depths of the 6-fold fire cave. The golden leaf lotus grew in the depths of the fire pit. "Let's go in." The woman in black increased the defense of the blue light shield around her body. She took the lead and entered the fire pit. Yi Chunfeng also summoned a mid-grade Dao artifact battle armor to cover his whole body. He followed the woman in black into the complex terrain of the fire pit. As the two of them followed the winding tunnel of fire that was getting hotter and hotter, they entered the depths of the heated brick bed. A lotus flower that was more than half a meter tall, with golden petals and a ball of fire circling in the center of the flower, emitting bursts of fiery light, appeared before their eyes. This golden lotus was enough to make Nirvana realm cultivators go crazy. Its value was even higher than the ancient Dao pill. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:25. There were 13 fire patterns on the golden petals. This golden petals flame lotus had reached 130,000 years of age. According to the memories in God Eater's mind, Yi Chunfeng knew that the number of fire patterns on the petals of the golden petals flame lotus represented how long it had been growing. Every 10,000 years, a fire pattern would appear on the golden petals. The more fire patterns there were, the longer the golden petals flame lotus would grow. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Those 3 heavenly flames are hidden under the golden petals flame lotus. You just need to help me deal with one of the heavenly flames and leave the rest to me. The black-clothed woman looked at the golden petals flame lotus with a burning gaze. Yi Chunfeng nodded and agreed straightforwardly. "Come, let's get closer and draw out those 3 heavenly flames." As she spoke, the black-clothed woman brought out a high-grade Dao artifact. There was a coiling dragon coiling around the spear and 11 gems of different sizes embedded in it. She slowly approached the golden petals flame lotus with Yi Chunfeng, who was wielding the halberd. When the two of them crossed the extremely hot dark gray flames and approached the golden petals flame lotus, the flames around the golden petals flame lotus suddenly fluctuated violently. Like layers upon layers of giant waves, they attacked Yi Chunfeng and the black-clothed woman, not allowing them to approach. "Drink!" the black-clothed woman shouted. A jade-green wood Dao diagram appeared around her body. It transformed into thousands of ancient tree roots that pierced through the sea of flames and attacked the golden petals flame lotus. Seeing the ancient tree roots condensed from the wood Tao diagram touch the golden petals flame lotus, the red, blue, and purple flames suddenly drilled out from the roots of the golden petals flame lotus. They released a destructive heat, melting the ancient tree roots like spirit snakes. In the next moment, the three extremely high-quality heavenly flames turned into three streams of light. They attacked Yi Chunfeng and the black-clothed woman, wanting to melt them. "You just need to help me deal with one heavenly flame. Leave the rest to me. After this is done, I won't forget anything I promised you." Seeing the three heavenly flames getting closer and closer, exuding an aura of death, the black-clothed woman warned. "Okay, let's go." Although Yi Chunfeng had repeatedly sensed killing intent from the black-clothed woman, he guessed that she would not fulfill her promise to him after the matter was settled. In order to protect the secret of the golden petals fire lotus, it was more likely that she would kill him. However, he deliberately tricked the black-clothed woman. He held the halberd in his hand and fought with the black heavenly fire that was as black as ink. It had turned into a 3-meter-tall man of fire. The flames pierced the sky and were enough to melt a mid-grade Tao artifact. During the fierce battle, Yi Chunfeng purposely hid his true strength. He only used the will of heaven and earth and unleashed nearly 50 million pounds of strength. He wielded the sky-piercer halberd that weighed 300,000 pounds and fought fiercely with the black heaven flame. From the corner of her eyes, she noticed that Yi Chunfeng's attack was instantly suppressed by the black heaven flames. The woman in black didn't dare to waste any more time. She decisively burned her bloodline power and transformed into her 3-headed and 6-armed form. She took out a Gu Dao treasure shaped like a pagoda and a Gu Dao treasure shaped like a bronze turtle. She held 4 great Dao weapons and attacked the blue and purple heaven flames with all her power. 3 heads and 6 arms, someone from the Kirin kingdom. Looking at the black-clothed woman's body shape, Yi Chunfeng guessed her identity. She should be from the royal family of the Kirin kingdom. Her status in the Kirin kingdom should not be low. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to grasp the ultimate form of the Kirin kingdom that was never revealed to outsiders. After transforming into the 3-headed and 6-armed form, she controlled the 2 Gu Dao treasures and 4 great Dao weapons. The black-clothed woman immediately suppressed the blue and purple heaven flames. However, the 3 heaven flames that were born with the golden fiery lotus were of extremely high quality. In addition, they could continuously draw out the power of the sea of fire and increase their attack power. For a moment, the black-clothed woman couldn't do any serious damage to them. Boom, boom, boom. After completely suppressing Yi Chunfeng's attack, the black heaven flames suddenly burst out with shocking flames and launched 3 fatal attacks at Yi Chunfeng. Each layer was stronger than the last. The destructive power of the 3rd heavenly flame instantly shattered Yi Chunfeng's attack. It shattered the defensive golden light and sent him flying. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth, staining it with blood. "I can't hold on any longer. You take care of yourself." As he was injured, Yi Chunfeng transmitted a message to the black-clothed woman whose expression changed slightly. "Hold on for a while longer. I will take care of them soon." The black-clothed woman frowned slightly. She didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so weak. However, in order to obtain the golden fiery lotus that was extremely important to her, she took out a crystal that had a powerful will sealed within it from her yin and yang ring. Originally, she didn't want to use the demonic saint's will, but Yi Chunfeng's early defeat had disrupted her plans. In order to take advantage of the opportunity when the black heavenly flame was attacking Yi Chunfeng with all its might to pluck the golden petal fire lotus, she couldn't care less. Crack! The will crystal shattered. The terrifying demonic beast saint's will spread out from the crystal and entered her body crazily, increasing her strength. In the blink of an eye, the black-clothed woman's strength reached the limit of nirvana and touched nirvana. With the increase in her strength, the black-clothed woman unleashed her attack power to the extreme. She controlled the 2 Gu Dao treasure and the 4 Dao soldiers to attack crazily. They constantly tore apart the attacks of the two heaven flames and damaged their bodies. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng, who was pretending to be heavily injured, flew out of the fire pit, leaving the black-clothed woman alone in the fire pit. Damn it! Seeing Yi Chunfeng running away and the terrifying black heaven flames attacking her, the black-clothed woman's expression changed drastically. Buzz! Buzz! The three heaven flames revolved around the black-clothed woman's body and immediately formed a natural array. They blended together and attacked the black-clothed woman crazily. The three heaven flames constantly shattered her body's defense and damaged her body. The black-clothed woman was afraid of the heaven fire array formed by the three heaven flames. Back when she discovered the golden fire lotus, she was injured by the heaven fire array formed by the three heaven flames. In the end, she was defeated and fled. Trash, just you wait. Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, I will definitely kill you. Initially, the black-clothed woman wanted to deal with the three heaven flames before killing Yi Chunfeng to keep the secret of the golden fire lotus. However, she did not expect that Yi Chunfeng would be defeated and run away after she used her strongest trump card and merged with the demonic beast Saint's Will. This made her teeth itch, and she regretted cooperating with Yi Chunfeng. However, it was too late to regret now. She had no choice but to defeat the three heaven flames and pluck the golden fire lotus. Her efforts were in vain. Blood Chi ignition. The black-clothed woman gritted her teeth and quickly ignited her powerful blood Chi. She attacked the purple and blue heaven flames that she had severely injured with all her might. As long as she could defeat one heaven flame, she would be able to break the heaven fire array that was a great threat to her. Boom! 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 A series of deafening explosions sounded from the depths of the stove bed. The terrifying power shook the entire space. Waves of destructive power surged in all directions like a tidal wave. The entire stove bed was in complete chaos. Under the black-clothed woman's all-out attack, the purple and blue heaven flames that she had severely injured were getting more and more damaged. Crisscrossing cracks appeared in the flames, and the power of the heaven fire array was constantly decreasing. The black-clothed woman also paid a great price. Her body was constantly being injured by the three heaven flames. The protective armor on her body was even more severely damaged. Half of her body was charred black. After fighting fiercely for more than an hour, when both sides were severely injured, the black-clothed woman suddenly seized the opportunity and threw out the 4 Dao soldiers. They turned into 4 streams of light and attacked the black heaven flame that was attacking the most fiercely. Immediately after, she merged the 2 Dao diagrams into the 2 Gu Dao treasures. She activated the power of the Gu Dao treasure and attacked the purple heaven flame that was the most damaged. True Qilin Seal. The black heaven flame was forced back by the 4 Dao soldiers, and the purple heaven flame was shattered by the 2 Gu Dao treasures. The black-clothed woman did not care about the consumption. She moved her 6 arms and controlled the powerful Dao pattern to form a mighty Qilin. It trampled on the space and ruthlessly crashed into the last ball of blue heaven flame. Just as the black-clothed woman was using all her strength to severely injure the 2 heaven flames, a stream of light suddenly appeared at an extremely fast speed. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng, who had left and returned, suddenly appeared beside the golden flaming lotus. Before the black-clothed woman could attack, he controlled the 9-dragon diagram to suppress the restless golden flaming lotus and transplanted it into the universe mirror. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:26. Seeking Death. The woman in black never thought that she would be tricked by Yi Chunfeng. She risked her life to injure the 2 sky fires, but it all ended up in his hands. She was so angry that she almost went crazy. Taking advantage of the woman in black's carelessness, he successfully transplanted the golden fiery lotus into the universe mirror. Yi Chunfeng didn't stay for long. He used his sword steps to escape from the fire bed at an extremely fast speed. Where could he escape to? The furious woman in black roared and increased her speed to the peak. She chased after Yi Chunfeng at an extremely fast speed. She was determined to stop him and take back the golden fiery lotus. Wrath of God's punishment. When Yi Chunfeng escaped to the entrance of the stove, the purple beginnings sacred thunder, dual polarity ancient heavenly water, and death blaze heavenly fire appeared on his body. They quickly merged and formed a terrifying divine might. It was like the angry roar of a deity as it bombarded the black-clothed woman who was chasing after him. Suddenly attacked by the wrath of God's punishment, the woman in black immediately formed the wood Tao diagram and the fire Tao diagram in front of her to block the attack. Gu Jianga, sword heart connected to the moon. When the woman in black used the power of the two Tao diagrams to forcefully tear apart the wrath of God's punishment, Yi Chunfeng took out the extreme grade Tao artifact Ice Dragon Sword and slashed out a sword that contained the sound of Tao. He slashed out with his sword, and the sword light that was like a mountain was branded with the mark of the grand Tao that multiplied like a bright moon that shone high up in the sky. It emanated boundless Tao insight pressure that shattered everything, and it mixed together with the terrifying tune of the grand Tao as it blasted towards the black-clothed young woman whose expression went grim. Crack, crack, crack. The two Tao diagrams were attacked by Gu Jianga and immediately crisscrossed cracks appeared on them. The terrifying sword power passed through the Tao diagrams and continuously attacked the woman in black's body, worsening her injuries. Damn kid, I will kill you today. After seeing Yi Chunfeng's shocking attack power, the woman in black knew that she was tricked. She was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. She continued to burn her powerful blood qi to suppress her injuries and controlled the two Gu Dao treasures to attack Yi Chunfeng. After fusing with the powerful vital energy, blood, and Dao intent infused by the woman in black, the fist-sized ancient Tao treasure bronze tortoise continued to grow in size, and it turned into a lifelike golden tortoise. It emitted a dazzling golden light, and it was like a small mountain. It carried the power of Tao intent that caused others to feel fear as it attacked Yi Chunfeng. And the moment the Gu Dao treasure golden turtle attacked, the woman in black controlled another Gu Dao treasure pagoda from the sky. It released a suffocating suppression power and smashing towards Yi Chunfeng. 9 Dragon Diagram, Suppression. The black-robed woman controlled the two ancient path treasures to attack. Yi Chunfeng did not panic. With a thought, he controlled the mid-grade saint treasure, Jiu Jiao portrait, to appear on his body. Borrowing the power of the 9 Jiao spirits, he suppressed the two ancient path treasures. What saint treasure? Seeing her two Gu Dao treasures being suppressed by the 9 Dragon diagram in an instant, the woman in black raised her eyebrows and revealed a shocked expression. She didn't expect that Yi Chunfeng, who was a level 4 combat beast emperor, not only had a shocking attack power, but also a terrifying foundation. He actually had a saint treasure that was almost extinct in the central continent. Yin-yang chessboard. While the woman in black was shocked, Yi Chunfeng took out the yin-yang chessboard that he obtained from killing Elder Zhe. He spat a mouthful of blood essence into the chessboard and controlled the yin-yang chessboard to fall off one by one. Like cold stars, they flew towards the woman in black. When the woman in black held the coiling dragon spear and interweaved a sharp spear light to block the yin-yang chessboard, she suddenly recognized the origin of the yin-yang chessboard and exclaimed, "Why is Elder Zhe's yin-yang chessboard in your hands?" Facing the woman in black's questioning, Yi Chunfeng didn't care at all. He instantly ignited his 3 great bloodlines and took out the demonic blood diagram, fusing it with this evil demonic treasure and raising his strength to the limit. "Who the hell are you?" Feeling that Yi Chunfeng's strength was close to Nirvana's level in an instant, the crazily rising body emitted a suffocating pressure. The soul power and Tao intent in his body surged like a torrential river. The woman in black was intimidated. "You talk too much nonsense." With that, Yi Chunfeng, whose strength had soared to the limit, tore apart the sea of fire with the ice dragon's sword and approached the woman in black. One line sword chop with one slash, the entire sea of fire dimmed. The terrifying Tao might with the power of mountains and rivers stabbed towards the woman in black's chest at a speed several times faster than normal. Feeling the possibility of Yi Chunfeng's sword, the woman in black reacted instinctively. She poured her Tao intent into the coiling dragon's spear and stabbed it out like a dragon emerging from the sea. The momentum was astonishing. She resisted Yi Chunfeng's sword with all her strength. When the two Taoist treasures collided, a force of more than 100 million pounds exploded in Yi Chunfeng's arm. The terrifying force passed through the coiled dragon's spear and into the arm of the woman in black. The shock numbed her arm and continued to worsen her injuries. How could it be? How could he have such great strength in his realm? Feeling the powerful force from the coiling dragon's spear, the woman in black's heart was set off a huge wave. It could be said that Yi Chunfeng's strength had broken her understanding of the Beast Emperor realm and made her fearful. Sound of the great Tao, song of the ancient underworld. While the woman in black was shocked, the God-Eater brain quickly deduced. A large number of sound patterns appeared in Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul and played the song of the ancient underworld. It fluctuated the void and bombarded the woman in black's body and soul. Puff! Suddenly attacked by the song of the ancient underworld, the heavily injured woman in black immediately felt a sharp pain in her soul. Streams of blood flowed out from her 7 orifices. 3 heads and 6 arms. Her injuries continued to worsen, but the woman in black didn't escape. She transformed into the ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms again. She was determined to kill Yi Chunfeng and take back the golden fiery lotus, as well as everything on Yi Chunfeng. Humph! Do you think you're the only one with 3 heads and 6 arms? When Yi Chunfeng saw the black-clothed woman attacking with 6 great Tao weapons, he transformed into his 3-headed, 6-armed form as well. He charged forward with 6 great Tao weapons in his hands and began to fight intensely with her in the dark gray sea of flames. Who are you? Seeing that Yi Chunfeng actually knew the secret skills of the Kirin kingdom, the woman in black revealed a look of disbelief. She really wanted to know who he was. Cosmos sword formation. While the woman in black was questioning, Yi Chunfeng stabbed out again. With one stab, the 36 cosmos swords flew out of his body and quickly formed a formation diagram. With a sweeping stance, they attacked the woman in black. 6 Tao weapons, block. The woman in black's expression changed slightly. She immediately controlled the 6 Tao weapons to block the tide-like attacks of the Cosmos Sword formation. However, the Cosmos Sword formation was too powerful, and she was too heavily injured. She couldn't use her full strength at all. Under the attack of the Cosmos Sword formation, the 6 Tao weapons were blown away. Her voluptuous body was pierced by the Cosmos Sword, and a large amount of blood flowed out uncontrollably. Cosmos Sword formation, combine. The woman in black retreated with injuries. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the 36 Cosmos swords to combine together, forming a huge sword that was dozens of feet long. With the enhancement of the bronze sword soul, it was like the Milky Way hanging high in the sky. It gave off a sword aura that made people shudder. Slash. With a thought from Yi Chunfeng, the Cosmos sword descended from the sky, slashing towards the woman in black who was trying to dodge with all her might. Suddenly, the soul power in Yi Chunfeng's mind exploded, forming a terrifying dizziness force that blasted into her soul sea, causing her to pause for a moment. Although she had regained consciousness in an instant, this short pause was fatal. Qi. The Cosmos sword that was fused with the will of the great Tao and the bronze sword soul slashed down. Under the attack of this sword, the mountains and rivers were about to break, and the sky and earth were about to change color. Although the woman in black tried her best to defend, she still couldn't block the attack of the Cosmos sword. More than half of her body was slashed by this sword, and a large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably. With her body heavily injured, The woman in black wanted to crush the heaven fire token to escape, but Yi Chunfeng's attack speed was faster. Under the control of his mind, the 9-dragon jade annulus appeared in his body and fused with almost all of Yi Chunfeng's soul power, turning into a murderous dragon that bombarded the woman in black's broken body. Boom! The 6-fold fire cave trembled violently for a moment, and crisscrossing cracks appeared in the hard space. Under the attack of the 9-dragon jade annulus, the woman in black's broken body was smashed, and even her soul was crushed, leaving no bones behind. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:27. Withdraw. Seizing the opportunity when the black-clothed woman was injured by the 3 heavenly fires, Yi Chunfeng used his trump card to kill her. Ignoring the fact that his body was weak, Yi Chunfeng immediately took away her belongings and quickly left the vicinity of the extremely hot brick bed. He found a relatively remote place and drank the heaven-returning water to recover the soul power that he had almost exhausted. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Yi Chunfeng originally wanted to summon the sword puppet to help during the fierce battle with the black-clothed woman, but the 9-fold inferno caverns were too mysterious. He was afraid that the appearance of the sword puppet without the heavenly fire tablet would be discovered and cause unnecessary trouble. In the end, he resisted the impulse. About 6 hours later, Yi Chunfeng drank an entire bottle of heavenly returning water and recovered a portion of his soul power. He continued to search for the entrance to the 7-fold inferno caverns. Finally, under his persevering efforts, he found the entrance to the 7-fold caverns of flames and dove into it. The flames in the 7-fold inferno caverns were actually bone-white. Its power was only slightly weaker than the solitary heavenly fire that Yu Yen subdued. After entering the 7-fold inferno caverns, Yi Chunfeng saw a vast expanse of white before him. The bone-white flames burned his body painfully. In order to reduce the effects of the bone-white flames on himself, Yi Chunfeng hurriedly covered his body with the death blaze heavenly fire and dual-polar ancient heavenly water to resist the corrosion of the bone-white flames. Golden body arts. To be cautious, Yi Chunfeng used golden body arts to cover his body with a layer of defensive light. Only then did he enter the 7-fold inferno caverns, where the temperature was so high that it could damage a high-grade Dao artifact. He searched for the entrance to the Eightfold inferno caverns. According to Wantian Marquis, the legendary sacred fire could only be born in the 8th and 9th levels of the 9-fold inferno caverns. Therefore, if he wanted to capture the sacred fire that was so important to him, he had to take the risk and dive into the last 2 levels of the 9-fold inferno caverns. When Yi Chunfeng entered the 7-fold caverns of flames, a white-haired old man with no signs of life immediately sensed it. His entire body had fused with the 9-fold caverns of flames, and they could not be distinguished from each other. He revealed a look of surprise. This white-haired old man was the artifact spirit of the 9-fold inferno cave. He had guarded the 9-fold inferno cave for countless years. Only when someone entered the 7-fold inferno cave would he be alarmed. Interesting. Who would have thought that 2 peerless geniuses would enter the 7-fold inferno caves today? They were actually able to withstand the burning flames of the 7-fold inferno caves, even though they were only Class 4 and Class 5 beast emperors. The white-haired old man revealed a playful smile and muttered to himself, "It seems that it is necessary to give you some rewards. However, only one person can get this reward. The winner will depend on your ability." With that, the white-haired old man used his extraordinary means to move a saint pill that had been nurtured in the 9-fold inferno caverns for an unknown number of years and had exceeded the limit of the Duhan continent, into the 7-fold inferno caverns. Yes, soul force. Just now, a powerful soul force seemed to have appeared in the 7-fold caves of flames. when the white-haired old man moved the Saint Pill, which was enough to make Nirvana heavenly realm experts go crazy, into the sevenfold caves of flames, it was coincidentally sensed by the keen God-Eater brain. Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and looked around, revealing a trace of surprise. Just as he was controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce and sense the movements in the surroundings, the rapidly deducing God-Eater brain sensed the existence of this Saint Pill in the sevenfold caves of flames. At the same time, a man with long fiery red hair, a body as tall and straight as a steel spear, eyes like lightning, a triangular flame pattern flashing on his forehead, and an ancient map floating above his head also sensed the existence of this Saint Pill. He approached the Saint Pill at an extremely fast speed. It was a Saint Pill that had been nurtured in the Inferno caves of flames. The red-haired man was the first to appear. He saw that in the depths of the sevenfold caverns of fire, there was a fiery red lotus pedestal. And on top of this lotus pedestal was a longan-sized white pill that emitted a thick medicinal fragrance and had a single pill mark winding around it. Although the white pill only had one pill pattern, the red-haired man still felt that it was extraordinary at first glance. He had a feeling that this pill in front of him was the highest quality pill he had ever seen in his life. It was also a great opportunity in his life. If he could obtain it, it might change the course of his life. Just as he was about to approach the white pill, his expression changed slightly. He felt a vague aura approaching him at an incredible speed. This place is occupied by the fire spirit saint. Whoever dares to approach will be killed without mercy. The red-haired man warned in a domineering manner. The killing intent in his body suddenly erupted. He was like a wolf that had been lurking for a long time. He bared his sharp fangs and his killing intent was awe-inspiring. Whoever dared to approach his territory without permission, he would definitely give that person a fatal blow. So it was the fire spirit saint. Before they left, Mu Qinghua told Yi Chunfeng about several famous heavenly masters and holy masters in the central continent. Among them, the flame spirit saint child, who came from the sacred fire valley, was young but possessed extraordinary strength. He had a 9-star heavenly master badge and was only a step away from becoming a sacred master. Mu Qinghua was full of praise for him. However, Yi Chunfeng was unmoved by the flame spirit saint's son's warning. Through his God-Eater brain, he was certain that the white pill on the lotus seat was definitely a saint pill that surpassed the limits of the Duhun continent. If he could obtain it, not only could he use this saint pill to break through to the level 5 Beast Emperor season, he could also study the saint pill's markings and prepare for the Heavenly Halls competition. Damn it, a mere level 4 Beast Emperor, how dare you not listen to my warning? You're really courting death. The flame spirit saint's son saw that Yi Chunfeng ignored his warning and continued to approach. He was furious. Floating above his head, the ancient painting with the sun, moon, mountains, and rivers shone with endless light. It was like a feather of light that traveled through time and space. It shot toward Yi Chunfeng. Low-grade sacred treasure feeling the power of the sun-moon-mountain-river painting, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to summon the Jiujiao painting to counter the attack. The moment the two sacred treasures attacked each other, the destructive power was like the boundless sea. It was vast and mighty, and the terrifying power made people want to kneel down. Well, I didn't expect you to have a sacred treasure too. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng controlled the Jiujiao painting to block the attack of his sun-moon-mountain-river painting, the flame spirit saint's son was surprised. The way he looked at Yi Chunfeng changed subtly. However, he was determined to get the saint pill in front of him. Anyone who dared to touch it would be his mortal enemy. How could there be a saint pill here? Yi Chunfeng did not pay attention to the flame spirit saint's son. His eyes were completely attracted by the saint pill on the lotus seat. Several thoughts flashed through his mind. He had a feeling that the appearance of this saint pill was too strange. It was as if someone deliberately left it here. I'll count to 3. If you don't get out of here, don't blame me for being ruthless and taking your life. The flame spirit Saint Sun looked at Yi Chunfeng with sharp eyes and warned him. Yi Chunfeng said fearlessly as he shifted his gaze to the flame spirit Holy Sun. His lips curled up slightly as he smiled. Then, he said fearlessly, "Don't you think you are too naive? Okay. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. I hope you won't regret it when you go to hell." As the flame spirit Saint Sun spoke, monstrous Taoist will burst out from his body. An ancient beast shadow appeared on his body, increasing his strength. The next moment, a supreme-grade Taoist sword inlaid with white gems, 6 feet and 6 inches long, with dragon-shaped patterns on the sword blade, appeared in his hand. When he grasped the firmament sword, a top-grade doctrine artifact, his entire aura changed drastically. The sword diagram appeared on his body. He was like a divine sword that had been unsheathed. He pointed his sword at Yi Chunfeng, thirsting for blood. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 11:28. Well, I didn't expect you to be a master of swordsmanship. Looking at the sword Dao diagram that appeared behind the Saint of Fire Spirit, Yi Chunfeng showed a sharp smile and said, "What a coincidence, I also practice swordsmanship. Let's see whose swordsmanship is better today." Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. As he spoke, the ice dragon sword appeared in Yi Chunfeng's hand. The sword Dao diagram also appeared behind him, pointing at the Saint of Fire Spirit. "I will let you know how stupid it is to be my enemy." The Saint of Fire Spirit's pupils shrank. The sword Dao diagram that appeared behind him released a large number of sword Dao patterns. Like a rolling tide, they rushed into the firmament sword and stabbed at Yi Chunfeng. The sword swept across the sky, killing without mercy. The Saint of Fire Spirit's sword was extremely terrifying. Its attack power was beyond the limit of a level 6 combat beast emperor. Boundless heavenly sword. Yi Chunfeng shook his wrist, and a large number of sword Dao patterns fell from the ice dragon sword. A sword light that looked like the great path slashed down, bringing with it the power to destroy everything. It intertwined with the sword light that the Fire Spirit Saint Sun had stabbed out. The two sword lights intertwined, stirring up endless fire. A large number of sword Dao patterns spread out and fought fiercely in the void. They were evenly matched. Yi Chunfeng and the Saint of Fire Spirit continued to attack each other at the same time. They fought each other with speed and strength. For a moment, the space where the two were formed a horrible wind. Harsh cracking sounds kept exploding, and the whole space was full of sword marks. The Saint of Fire Spirit really had the right to be arrogant. His strength was so terrifying. After fighting fiercely with the Saint of Fire Spirit for half an hour, Yi Chunfeng found that the Saint of Fire Spirit had endless attacking methods, and his understanding of swordsmanship was not weaker than his. Bronze Sword Soul Fuse. Yi Chunfeng moved his mind, and the Bronze Sword Soul flew out of his Sea of Soul and fused into the Ice Dragon Sword. In an instant, the attack power of the Ice Dragon Sword was raised to the limit. The mighty patterns of the Great Path continued to revolve around the tip of the Ice Dragon Sword. Yi Chunfeng swung his sword and shattered the sword light of the Flame Spirit Saint Sun. Like a cold star, he stabbed towards the Flame Spirit Saint Sun's chest. Yi Chunfeng's sword came from the sky. The Flame Spirit Saint Sun's pupils shrank, and he instantly changed his move. In an instant, he stabbed out 3 times, forming a triangle shape and continuously colliding fiercely with Yi Chunfeng's Ice Dragon Sword. The Fire Spirit Saint Sun's attack was extremely powerful, but it could not block the Ice Dragon Sword that had fused with the Bronze Sword Soul. With a shake of Yi Chunfeng's wrist, the Ice Dragon Sword crushed the Fire Spirit Saint Sun's sword light like a hot knife through butter. A beam of sword light mixed with several wills of the Great Path flew past as if it was going to split the world. It slashed toward the Saint Son of Fire Spirit, whose expression changed slightly, forcing him to dodge to one side. Bloodline burning. Although he had dodged Yi Qinfeng's sword, the proud Saint Son of Fire Spirit felt extremely humiliated. He quickly burned the power of his bloodline, and the triangular fire pattern on his forehead reflected endless flames, greatly increasing his strength. Divine Demon Bloodline, Divine Lord Bloodline, burning. Facing the Fire Spirit Saint Son, Yi Qinfeng did not dare to be careless. The moment he burned the power of his bloodline, Yi Qinfeng also burned 2 bloodlines, greatly increasing his strength. He continued to attack with the Ice Dragon sword in his hand. For a moment, the 2 invincible divine swords crossed the void space, tore the earth, and collided fiercely. The space where the sword chi cut through appeared crisscrossing sword marks, which did not disappear for a long time. Cosmos sword formation. Just as the 2 of them were fighting fiercely, Yi Qinfeng suddenly changed his move. He stabbed out with his sword, and 36 Cosmos sword formations flew out, instantly turning into the Cosmos sword diagram. With ear-piercing sounds, they attacked the Fire Spirit Saint Son intensively. Bronze Sword Soul, fuse. When Yi Qinfeng urged the Cosmos sword formation to attack with full force, he merged the Bronze Sword Soul into the Cosmos sword formation, increasing the attack of the Cosmos sword. The Cosmos swords slashed down, as if they could break the void space and tear the earth apart, bringing great pressure to the Fire Spirit Saint Son. Heavenly Fire Diagram. The attack was suppressed by Yi Qinfeng's Cosmos sword formation. The Fire Spirit Saint Son decisively summoned a powerful diagram. When he merged with the diagram, the hot energy of the sevenfold fire cave crazily merged into the diagram, turning into pure energy that merged into his body, increasing his strength. Cosmos sword formation, fuse. When the Fire Spirit Saint Son used the heavenly fire diagram to fight back, Yi Qinfeng controlled the 36 Cosmos swords to merge together and slashed at him with the force of swallowing the heavenly river. The vast Qianquan sword slashed down. It was as if it was going to destroy the foundation of this world and shatter the entire space. It made the Flame Spirit Saint Son feel like the end of the world was coming. His unyielding heart trembled for some reason. Boom! The Cosmos sword slashed down, and the terrible sword power shattered the Fire Spirit Saint Son's attack and slashed at his head. Once his head was hit by the Cosmos sword, he would undoubtedly be killed. Sun Moon Mountain River Diagram, defense. At the critical moment, the Fire Spirit Saint Son controlled the low-grade holy treasure to float above his head. With the power of this holy treasure, he blocked the fatal blow of the Cosmos sword. What? Weren't you very arrogant just now? Why did you use the holy treasure now? Yi Qinfeng looked at the Fire Spirit Saint Son, whose face was ugly and whose blood and qi were rolling violently in his body. He sneered coldly. I thought you were a great person, but now it seems that you are just a coward. You want to die? The Fire Spirit Saint Son had never been humiliated like this. He roared angrily and continued to merge the heavenly fire diagram. He held the firmament sword in his hand and slashed at Yi Qinfeng. He was determined to kill Yi Qinfeng to vent his anger. 200 million kilograms of power burst out. The Fire Spirit Saint Son was like an enraged lion. He attacked crazily. Yi Qinfeng immediately activated the power of his 5 acupoints and held the Ice Dragon sword to meet the attack. When the supreme-grade Ice Dragon sword collided with the Firmament sword, a terrifying force shattered the surging soul power and Tao will in the Firmament sword. It passed into the Flame Spirit Saint Son's arm, causing his skin and flesh to split open. A large amount of blood flowed out. Stun art. Just as the Fire Spirit Saint Son was shocked, the soul power in Yi Qinfeng's brain exploded, forming a terrible stun power. It blasted into his sea of soul, making his reaction a little slower. Then Yi Qinfeng activated the strongest power of the Bronze Sword Soul and merged it into the Ice Dragon sword. The sword pierced through the air and stabbed toward the Fire Spirit Saint Son's chest. For a moment, the ice dragon sword roared. An ice dragon with natural Tao patterns flew out of the tip of the ice dragon sword and slashed toward the fire spirit Saint Sun, whose reaction was greatly reduced. Chi. The fire spirit Saint Sun, who couldn't dodge in time, was sent flying by Yi Qinfeng's sword. The upper-grade Tao battle armor he was wearing had a half-meter-long sword mark. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably and dyed his body red. After heavily injuring the holy son of fire spirit with one strike, Yi Qinfeng did not give him any chance to catch his breath. Holding the ice dragon sword in his hand, he continued to launch fatal attacks at him, wanting to kill him in one go and end the battle. At the critical moment, the fire spirit Saint Sun rolled on the ground and quickly dodged to the side, blocking Yi Qinfeng's fatal attack. Let's see how many times you can dodge. Yi Qinfeng showed a trace of arrogance. He attacked with full force with the ice dragon sword in his hand, forcing the fire spirit Saint Sun to float the sun-moon-mountain-river diagram in front of him to protect his body. He blocked Yi Qinfeng's tide-like attacks. The peerless genius of the central continent, the arrogant fire spirit Saint Sun, was completely suppressed by Yi Qinfeng. He was in danger. The friend who will post the photo of Jiao Yuan tomorrow adds the public account, YLTY83 mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1129. Powerful. I didn't expect the level 4 Beast Emperor to be so powerful. He had so many tricks up his sleeves and suppressed the demon so quickly. If the demon didn't have any other tricks up his sleeves, then he was destined not to get the divine pill. Hidden in the sevenfold fire cave, the white-haired elder who had been secretly watching the battle between the two top geniuses revealed a rare smile and kept commenting in his heart. Puff. The fire spirit saint controlled the sun-moon-mountain-river diagram and used all his strength to resist Yi Qinfeng's fierce attack. However, he was still sent flying by Yi Qinfeng's sword and fell heavily on the ground, aggravating his injuries. Heavenly Fire Double Change being in an absolute disadvantage, the fire spirit Saint Sun used his last trump card. He completely merged with the Sky Fire formation. 2 Sky Fires appeared in his body. With the power of the 2 Sky Fires, he performed the secret technique that the Sacred Fire Valley never taught to outsiders. His power instantly increased by 2 times. Die. With his strength skyrocketing, the fire spirit saint, who was covered in blood, condensed the water and fire diagram. He controlled the 2 diagrams to launch a counterattack, trying to turn the situation around. Supernatural power. Tyrannical kick. The saint of fire spirit attacked crazily. Yi Qinfeng flew up into the sky and took a step forward. The sky and earth were suppressed and everything was wailing. The tyrant kick was so heavy that it crushed the saint of fire spirit's sword light one after another. It forced Yi Qinfeng to retreat. Supernatural power. True dragon transformation. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng burned his dragon bloodline and increased his soul power by 7 times. He turned into an extraordinary blood dragon, exuding a power that was as boundless as the abyss. It tore apart the bone-white sea of fire and attacked the fire spirit saint, whose face changed drastically. Hum. When Yi Qinfeng used the real dragon transformation and clashed with the sun and moon mountain and river diagram that the saint of fire spirit had hurriedly put in front of him, terrifying dragon roars sounded everywhere. The terrifying blood dragon continued to explode with shocking power, shattering the power of the sun and moon mountain and river diagram. It brought great pressure to the saint of fire spirit, worsening his injuries and forcing him to retreat step by step. This was a side branch divine ability of the dragon race. This little fellow was not simple, his luck deep, actually learning this kind of divine ability, truly making others envious. After witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng using the true dragon transformation, the white-haired elder developed a strong interest in him and continued to hide in the shadows to watch the battle. Sun Moon Mountain River Diagram, Break. The flame spirit Saint Sun kept spitting blood into the Sun and Moon Mountain and River painting to stimulate its attacking power. Finally, it broke Yi Chunfeng's true dragon transformation. Qing Tianju, Desolate Furnace of Heaven. When Yi Chunfeng returned to his original form, he increased the speed of the Green Heaven spell to its maximum. He performed the third move of the Green Heaven spell, which was also the most powerful move, to attack the fire spirit Saint Sun. Boom! The heavens and earth were in turmoil, and a sea of fire was rising and falling. Under Yi Chunfeng's full power, the rolling will of the Wei and the power of heaven merged together and transformed into a desolate furnace with innate patterns. With the pressure of the Wei of heaven, it suppressed the Saint's Sun of Flame Spirit, who was controlling the Sun Moon Mountain River diagram to defend himself with all his might. Boom! The desolate furnace of heaven suppressed the Sun and Moon Mountain River diagram. The explosive power directly twisted the space of the sevenfold fire cave. Everything within a few miles fell into chaos at this moment. Boom! When the fire spirit Saint Sun used the Sun and Moon Mountain River diagram to defend against the desolate furnace of heaven, Yi Chunfeng roared and detonated the desolate furnace of heaven, launching the most fatal attack. Boom! The desolate furnace of heaven exploded. The terrifying power was like a star falling to the ground, destroying the space. It was terrifying. The overbearing destructive power was like a big mouth that swallowed the fire spirit Saint Sun, who couldn't dodge in time. It crazily destroyed his body and aggravated his injuries. If the fire spirit Saint Sun didn't use the Sun and Moon Mountain River diagram and all his defensive trump cards to defend himself, this attack was enough to make him lose the ability to fight. Powerful. Did this little guy come from the Nine Heavens God Kingdom? He had mastered the Green Heaven spell and cultivated the most powerful move of the Green Heaven spell. It seemed that he was most likely the owner of that divine pill. The white-haired elder recognized the origin of the desolate furnace of heaven immediately. He was a little curious about Yi Chunfeng's identity. Fire Spirit Saint Sun, you have lost. Just admit defeat. Yi Chunfeng looked at the Fire Spirit Saint Sun, who spat out blood and flew dozens of meters away. He summoned the Nine Dragon diagram, and controlled the Nine Dragon diagram to suppress the Sun and Moon Mountain River diagram and put pressure on the Fire Spirit Saint Sun. When the two Saint Treasures fought fiercely, the Nine Dragon diagram suppressed the Sun and Moon Mountain River diagram with the advantage of level and the Nine Dragon spirit. At this time, Yi Chunfeng used his physical power to the extreme. He stepped on the sword and flashed in front of the severely injured fire spirit Saint Sun. He swung the ice dragon sword and slashed. This sword was filled with 100 million pounds of power. This sword had combined the bronze sword spirit and the will of the Great Path. When the sword slashed down, it was like a mountain. The terrifying power extinguished the fiercely tumbling bone-white flame instantly. Although the fire spirit Saint Sun had doubled his strength with the help of the two Skyfires, his injuries were too serious. He could not resist Yi Chunfeng's ice dragon sword at all. Every time the ice dragon sword with the shadow of the ice dragon fell, the fire spirit Saint Sun would spit out blood and retreat. His arms were almost broken and shattered by the power of more than 100 million pounds. Double Sky Fire, explode for me. His injuries kept getting worse. He could not resist Yi Chunfeng's fierce attacks. The fire spirit Saint Sun controlled the two Sky Fires to merge together and formed a double-colored fireball. He attacked Yi Chunfeng and detonated the fireball when it was close to Yi Chunfeng. However, after transforming into the godly demon body, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was almost at the level of a top-grade Tao artifact. The explosion of the double sky fire could not hurt his body at all. Relying on his absolute defense to withstand the fire spirit Saint Sun's desperate counterattack, Yi Chunfeng's entire body flew into the air again. He merged perfectly with the ice dragon sword. In the next moment, under the control of Yi Chunfeng's mind, 36 Qiankuan swords fell like rain. They were distributed around the fire spirit Saint Sun's body, completely restricting his space to dodge. Just as the fire spirit Saint Sun was about to break out, a bell-like voice rang out. It pierced his ears and made his soul tremble inexplicably. Gu Jianga, heart of the sword bright moon. The 5 elements Tao diagram, the life and death Tao diagram, and the sword Tao diagram appeared on his body. Yi Chunfeng deduced the Tao intent to the extreme. The rolling Tao intent turned into an invincible sword. It was like the Milky Way hanging high in the sky. It crossed the entire sky. When the sword slashed out, the sun and the moon shone. The fire spirit Saint Sun was completely stunned. The heavenly fire extreme with his life hanging by a thread, the fire spirit Saint Sun's full strength was completely stimulated. He performed the sacred fire palace's magical secret method. The 2 sky fires and the 2 Tao diagrams that he had subdued in his body were pushed to the extreme. They formed an explosive flame that was like the wrath of the heavens. Boom! The heart of the sword bright moon and the heavenly fire extreme collided. The movement covered all the sounds in the 7-fold fire cave. The destructive power that was like the end of the world instantly swallowed the fire spirit Saint Sun, who could not dodge in time, and tore his body apart. Seeing that the fire spirit Saint Sun was about to be torn apart by this destructive power, a strange teleportation power wrapped around his broken body and teleported him directly out of the 7-fold fire cave. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1130. Sky-splitting hand, retract. The flame spirit saint teleported away. Yi Chunfeng, who had consumed a lot of energy, did not waste any time. He immediately used Sky-Splitting Hand to grab the divine elixir on the lotus seat. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. The Sky-Splitting Hand broke through the defensive light of the lotus seat and grabbed the divine elixir. The divine elixir seemed to have a life of its own and suddenly escape. Where did it run to? Yi Chunfeng roared and used the sword step to intercept the divine elixir. The 5 elements Tao diagram and the life and death Tao diagram appeared on his body, releasing a powerful Tao will to suppress the divine elixir. Under the suppression of the 2 Tao diagrams, the divine elixir finally behaved. Yi Chunfeng cast hundreds of forbidden runes to restrain it and put it into a jade box that emitted traces of spiritual qi. After successfully subduing the divine elixir, Yi Chunfeng immediately looked at the lotus seat. He wanted to subdue it as well, but when he looked at the lotus seat, his pupils shrank and he was shocked. The lotus seat in the bone-white sea of fire had mysteriously disappeared. Did someone just come here? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly and muttered to himself. He felt that the appearance of this divine elixir was very strange. He became more careful. While recovering his injuries and consumed soul power, he looked for the entrance to the Eightfold Inferno. When there was only 1 day left, Yi Chunfeng finally found the entrance to the 8th layer Cavern of Flames. He entered the 8th layer Cavern of Flames without hesitation. Interesting. This little guy is really bold. He dares to enter the Eightfold Inferno with his strength as a 4th-grade beast emperor. Isn't he afraid of being burned to ashes by the flames in the Eightfold Inferno? When Yi Chunfeng entered the dark Eightfold Inferno, the white-haired elder sensed it immediately. He showed a trace of interest and continued to observe him secretly. What a high temperature! The flames in the Eightfold Inferno had definitely reached the peak of heavenly fire, comparable to the death flame heavenly fire. Being in the Eightfold Inferno, the defensive golden light that covered Yi Chunfeng's body melted directly. Although the death flame, heavenly fire, and dual polarity, ancient heavenly water, were constantly restraining the black flames, Yi Chunfeng still felt an intense burning sensation on his skin. It was as if his entire body was about to melt. Chaos Divine Wood. Feeling the power of the black flames, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to be careless. He immediately controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to extend thousands of strands of roots, covering his entire body and devouring the black flames burning his body. With the suppression of the Chaos Divine Wood, the black flames were practically unable to cause any harm to Yi Chunfeng's body, which was comparable to a high-grade Tao artifact. He no longer hesitated and flew into the sea of black flames. He completely released his soul power and searched for the holy flames in the 8-layered caverns of flames. Formidable. This little fellow was truly not simple. He had quite a few secrets on him. He was actually able to restrain the flames of the Eightfold Inferno. The white-haired elder realized that Yi Chunfeng was actually ignoring the black flames in the 8th-layer caverns of flames. His interest in Yi Chunfeng grew stronger and stronger, and he reported this to the higher-ups of the Sky Hall. At the same time, in a mustard seed space hidden in the depths of the Fire God City, 5 old men with snow-white hair and long white robes sat around an ancient pine tree that was several hundred meters tall. The tree bark was in the shape of dragon scales, and the lush tree crown was as black as ink. It exuded an ancient vigor. These 5 white-haired elders were the higher-ups of the Sky Hall. They were also the people in charge of the Sky Hall. Among them, the white-haired elder with a ruddy complexion, who was sitting with his back facing the east, and his eyes were as deep as the ocean. He was the Sky Hall's Hall Master, Nirvana Heavenly Realm Xian Hongzheng. His position was comparable to the divine emperors of the 3 divine nations. Just as the 5 of them were discussing the upcoming Sky Hall's competition, a powerful energy passed through the mustard seed space and entered Xian Hongzheng's ears. Feeling the sudden appearance of this powerful energy, the 4 of them stopped talking and immediately looked at Xian Hongzheng. Just now, Elder Hua sent me a message saying that someone had entered the 8-layered caverns of flames. Xian Hongzheng revealed a faint smile and said slowly, "Hall Master, is this person who entered the 8-layered caverns of flames very special?" He even caught Elder Hua's attention. Xian Qinyun, the Vice Hall Master of the Sky Hall, who had a thin figure and a long white beard, looked extremely unremarkable. However, he gave off a dangerous vibe. Yes, according to Elder Hua, this person who entered the 8-layered caverns of flames is only a level 4 combat beast emperor, and his bone age is not more than 50 years. Xian Hongzheng nodded and said, "What? How is this possible?" Hearing Xian Hongzheng's words, the 4 of them revealed a look of deep shock on their calm faces. Although there would be people who would enter the 8-layered caverns of flames every time the 9-layered caverns of flames opened, the 4 of them knew very well that the might of the flames in the 8-layered caverns of flames was no different from courting death if one did not have the strength of a nirvana realm. Now that a level 4 combat beast emperor had entered, how could they not be shocked? Elder Hua guessed that the little guy had taken a huge risk to enter the 8-layered caverns of flames to subdue the sacred flame. Xian Hongzheng continued. When did such a monstrous genius appear in the central mainland? A level 4 combat beast emperor wanting to subdue the sacred flame? Wasn't this too crazy? The great guardian of the Sky Hall, Xian Zhangxin, who had a square face and bright eyes and a tall and sturdy figure, lost his self-control and said, "In the countless years since the 9-layered caverns of flames had opened, there had never been such a monstrous genius. You guys guess. Can that little guy subdue the sky-incinerating sacred flame in the 8-layered caverns of flames?" Xian Hongzheng asked with a faint smile. "I don't think it's possible." Xian Qinyan shook his head and said, "We are very clear about the might of the sky-incinerating sacred flame. After fusing with the power of the 8-layered caverns of flames, even Nirvana's Almighty couldn't subdue it, let alone a young level 4 combat beast emperor. That's right, the 9-layered caverns of flames have opened countless times. Originally, every time it opened, there would be people who would enter the 8-layered caverns of flames, and even the 9-layered caverns of flames to capture the sacred flame. But so far, no one has succeeded. So I also don't want to believe that little guy will succeed. The great elder of the Sky Hall, whose face was flushed red, nodded and said, "Unless Elder Hua helps. Elder Hua won't break the rules to help." However, Elder Hua is very optimistic about that little guy. He said that he will definitely shine in the Sky Hall's competition and asked us to take care of him, Xian Hongjing said. Just as the 5 Sky Hall higher-ups were deeply interested in Yi Chunfeng because of Elder Hua's message, Yi Chunfeng was increasing his speed to the limit, looking for the sacred flame that could be nurtured in the 8-layered caverns of flames. When he patiently searched in the 8-layered caverns of flames for more than 6 hours and crossed a large area, the God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, felt an extremely terrifying power not far ahead. This power was comparable to the Purple Beginning's sacred lightning. Sacred flame, I finally found the sacred flame in the 8-layered caverns of flames. Yi Chunfeng's first goal after entering the 9-layered caverns of flames was not the sacred flame, but the sacred flame. If he could subdue a kind of sacred flame, he could refine the sacred flame and the Purple Beginning's sacred lightning into the refined Tao tool through equilibrium. This would increase the power of the Tao tool and become his biggest trump card. After discovering the sacred flame, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate. He used the sword steps to tear apart the vast black sea of flames and found a huge flame cave in the depths of the 8-layered caverns of flames. The sacred flame that the God-Eater brain sensed was in the flame cave. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1131. I wonder if the Chaos Divine Wood can help me subdue this first sacred fire. Although Yi Chunfeng's strength was extraordinary and his foundation was even deeper than the Divine Nation's princes, he did not have the confidence to subdue the terrifying power of the first sacred fire that even the supreme expert of Nirvana could not subdue. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. The only thing he could rely on was the nemesis of flames, the Chaos Divine Wood. God and Devil Blood Vein, ignite. Facing the terrifying first sacred fire, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to be careless. He quickly ignited his God and Devil Blood Vein and increased his strength, raising the defense of his body to the level of a top-grade Tao artifact. With the Ice Dragon sword in hand, he rushed into the flame cave formed by countless black flames, which was enough to melt a high-grade Tao artifact. After rushing into the flame cave, Yi Chunfeng immediately felt the death blaze heavenly fire and the dual extreme ancient heavenly water becoming restless. It was obvious that they could not withstand the heat in the flame cave, and the energy they contained was quickly being consumed. Chaos Divine Wood, devour. Just as a large amount of flames passed through the death blaze heavenly fire and the dual extreme ancient heavenly water, burning Yi Chunfeng's body, Yi Chunfeng controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to increase its devouring power, crazily devouring the black flames, reducing the damage to his body. Sensing that someone had invaded its territory, the first sacred fire in the depths of the flame cave woke up. It stared at Yi Chunfeng with a pair of fierce eyes that were filled with flames, releasing a suffocating flame energy that turned into a torrent of flames, bombarding towards him, wanting to kill him. 5 elements Tao diagram, life and death Tao diagram, exterminate. As the torrent of flames surged over, Yi Chunfeng quickly condensed 2 Tao diagrams. Borrowing the power of the 2 Tao diagrams, he resisted the torrent of flames that surged over and fiercely repulsed it in the flame cave. The temperature in the flame cave was too high, and under the influence of the endless black flames, Yi Chunfeng's fighting strength continued to decline. The 2 Tao diagrams that he had formed, after a series of intense attacks, finally tore apart the crazily surging torrent of flames. As Yi Chunfeng continued to go deeper, another torrent of flames that was like a long river came attacking. Each wave of flames was stronger than the previous wave, and in the end, the two Tao diagrams that Yi Chunfeng had condensed shattered. The yin-yang chessboard reversed the power of yin and yang. At the crucial moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Gu Dao treasure's yin-yang chessboard and poured a large amount of Dao insight and soul energy into the chessboard. He controlled the yin-yang chessboard to revolve rapidly in front of him and released a powerful force of yin and yang to resist the attacks of the torrents of flames. He went all out to enter the flame cave. Just as Yi Chunfeng was using the power of the Gu Dao treasure to tear through the torrent of flames like a hot knife through butter, the first sacred flame was completely enraged. It turned into a destructive ball of light, dragging a dark golden tail behind it as it shot over like a meteor. Boom! The first holy fire hit the yin-yang chessboard, and the power it unleashed disintegrated the yin and yang power that permeated the chessboard. The terrifying impact knocked Yi Chunfeng back a few meters. As expected of the first sacred flame, its power was indeed extraordinary. Feeling the power of the first sacred flame, Yi Chunfeng was not shocked. Instead, he was happy. With a thought, the 36 Qiankuan swords flew out of his body and quickly formed a Qiankuan sword formation. They attacked the first sacred flame, wanting to trap it. Trapped within the cosmic sword formation, the first holy fire quickly revolved, forming a terrifying vortex of flames. It madly merged with the raging black flames in the flame cave and attacked the cosmic sword formation. Under the first holy fire's devastating attack, the 36 cosmic swords constantly buzzed. A large number of cracks appeared on the sword formation, and it was destroyed in the end. 9 Serpent Diagram, annihilate. If he wanted to successfully subdue the first holy fire, he had to severely injure it first. Faced with the surging power of flames and the first holy fire that swept over, Yi Chunfeng immediately unleashed the 9 Serpent Diagram. He poured soul energy and Tao insight into the 9 Serpent Diagram at all costs, controlling the diagram to condense 9 serpent spirits that attacked the black vortex of flames. Even Nirvana's experts would not dare to take this attack head-on. However, in the flame cave, the first holy fire that could continuously fuse with the flame cave's energy forcefully blocked it. Relying on its powerful strangulation power, it shattered the 9 serpent spirits' attack. The first holy fire continued to fuse with the flame cave's energy and attacked Yi Chunfeng. It was determined to kill Yi Chunfeng, who had snuck into its territory. Purple Holy Thunder, Vermilion Bird Cauldron, Gu Fanxing. The 9 Serpent Diagrams attack failed. Yi Chunfeng used his methods one after another, controlling the Gu Dao treasure to attack the flame vortex. However, in the flame cave, the first holy fire was almost invincible. It constantly fused with the flame cave's energy and crushed Yi Chunfeng's attacks, forcing Yi Chunfeng to continuously retreat out of the flame cave. The bronze sword soul attacked the main body. With his attacks broken, Yi Chunfeng controlled the bronze sword soul to fly out, directly entering the wildly spinning flame vortex and attacking the first holy fire in the center of the vortex. Chi. Under the bronze sword soul's unstoppable attack, the first holy fire in the center of the vortex was penetrated. However, in the next moment, the first holy fire that was crazily fusing with the black flames healed the wound and continued to control the flame vortex to attack Yi Chunfeng. The attack worked. Yi Chunfeng controlled the bronze sword soul to attack with all its strength. However, every time the first holy fire was penetrated by the bronze sword soul, it could fuse with the flame cave's energy to repair the damage. In the end, under the attack of the black flame vortex formed by the first holy fire, Yi Chunfeng was forced out of the flame cave. The bronze sword soul was also damaged in the scorching heat. Yi Chunfeng left the flame cave. The cautious first holy fire did not come out of the cave to chase after him. It glared at him fiercely and returned to the flame cave. It was impossible to injure the first holy fire in the flame cave. If he wanted to subdue it, He had to lure it out and trap it. Only then would he have a chance to see how terrifying the first holy fire was in the flame cave. Yi Chunfeng frowned and kept thinking of ways to subdue the first holy fire. 108 array flags, forming an array. After thinking for a while, Yi Chunfeng summoned 108 array flags and quickly condensed them into a powerful trap array hidden in the void. Then, Yi Chunfeng took out 3 fire spirits and Zhao Yuyan's cyan phoenix flame and placed them at the entrance of the flame cave, trying to lure the first holy fire out of the flame cave. If the first holy fire wanted to evolve further, it needed to devour a large number of fire spirits, spiritual fire and heavenly fire. Yi Chunfeng had just released a powerful soul to cover the surroundings of the flame cave and found that there were no fire spirits or spiritual fire. He guessed that those flames should have been devoured by the first holy fire, so he thought of this method. Sensing the fire spirits and cyan phoenix flame at the entrance of the flame cave, the highly intelligent first holy fire was immediately attracted. However, it just felt a trace of danger from Yi Chunfeng's body. After hesitating for a while, it did not take the risk. Come out. Seeing that the cyan phoenix flame and the 3 fire spirits were unable to lure the first holy fire out, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 3 spiritual fires that he obtained from killing the 3 burly men and placed them at the entrance of the flame cave to lure the first holy fire. Sensing the 4 spiritual fires at the entrance of the flame cave, the first holy fire immediately became restless. Although it knew that this was definitely a trap, the temptation of the 4 spiritual fires and 3 fire spirits was too great, so it decided to take the risk. Finally couldn't help it. Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting cross-legged near the 4 spiritual fires, had been controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce. When he felt that the first holy fire could not resist the temptation and slowly appeared at the entrance of the flame cave, he revealed a faint smile. His soul fused into the trap array, controlling the trap array to completely integrate with the space of the flame cave. He was ready to trap the first holy fire the moment it left the flame cave. Time passed by slowly. When the cautious first holy fire approached the flame cave, it did not immediately come out to devour the food. Instead, it carefully sensed the danger outside. In the end, under the temptation of the 4 spiritual fires, the first holy fire, who did not sense the danger, flew out of the flame cave. In an instant, it devoured the 4 spiritual fires and the 3 fire spirits that were slightly further away. Just as it was about to devour the 3 fire spirits and turn back to the flame cave, the rapidly operating trap array enveloped it, cutting off its path of retreat and trapping it in the big array. Today, I will post Zhao Yuyan's picture. If you want to see it, please add me on WeChat. YLTY83 mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1132. Blood Demon Diagram, Fuse. The moment he trapped first Saint Flame, Yi Chunfeng immediately ignited his 3 bloodlines and fused them with the Blood Demon Diagram, increasing his strength to the greatest extent. In the next moment, the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, Gu Fanxing, Qi Dragon Seal, and Yin Yang chessboard appeared on his body. Under his control, they all attacked first Saint Flame. Lowly human, I'll burn you to death. Trapped in the formation, first Saint Flame was immediately enraged. It transformed into a 10-meter-tall giant burning with dark golden flames. It waved its flaming fists, shaking the 4 Gu Dao treasure as it fought fiercely in the formation. Green Heaven Spell, Desolate Furnace of Heaven. When the 4 great ancient Taoist treasures were forced back by the first holy flame, Yi Chunfeng quickly activated the Green Heaven secret art. The rolling will of the way turned into a desolate furnace with intertwining inscriptions. It carried the might of the way of the heavens as it attacked the first holy flame. When first Saint Flame's fists, which were burning with flames, shook the desolate furnace of heaven, Yi Chunfeng quickly detonated the desolate furnace of heaven. The terrifying explosive force was like a falling star, crazily destroying First Saint Flame and damaging its fire body. Fine cracks spread across its body. Cosmos Sword Formation, attack. Isolated by the formation, First Saint Flame could not fuse with the power of fire to repair the damage to its flame body. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng summoned 36 Cosmos Swords. They formed a sword diagram and fused with the bronze sword spirit, increasing the sword diagram's power to the greatest extent. It swept towards First Saint Flame like a rain of swords. Under the enhancement of the bronze sword spirit, the Cosmos Sword Formation's power became extremely terrifying. Each Cosmos Sword was like a roaring dragon, tearing apart First Saint Flame's attack and damaging its flame body. Lowly human, die. First Saint Flame's flame body became more and more injured. First Saint Flame was enraged. Its huge body shone with light even more dazzling than the sun. It turned into hundreds of dancing fire snakes, viciously attacking the defensive formation that trapped it. It wanted to tear through the formation and return to the flame cave. Chaos Divine Wood, devour! The instant the first sacred flame split apart, Yi Chunfeng seized the opportunity to summon his greatest trump card, the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to devour the dancing fire snake. Although the chaotic Divine Wood was unable to directly restrain and devour the first sacred flame, its split-body attack gave Yi Chunfeng the best opportunity. Under the suppression of the Chaos Divine Wood, the First Saint Flame's fire serpents were continuously devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood. This made the First Saint Flame reveal a trace of fear. No, what is this? The first sacred flame had been nurtured for countless years, but it had never encountered a divine object that could restrain and devour it. Feeling its split body being continuously devoured by the primal Chaos Divine Wood, it fell into a state of panic. It madly attacked the formation, wanting to quickly leave this place. Elder Hora, who had been observing in the dark, was also shocked when the Chaos Divine Wood swallowed the fire serpent. This was also the first time he had seen the Chaos Divine Wood. Even he himself felt a tinge of fear when he felt the power contained within the Chaos Divine Wood. How could this little guy have so many secrets on him? Which great power had nurtured such a monstrous genius like him? Elder Hua's deep gaze pierced through the endless sea of fire and stared at the Chaos Divine Wood. The more he looked at the Chaos Divine Wood, the more shocked he became. He was extremely curious about Yi Chunfeng's identity. As the Chaos Divine Wood continued to devour, Elder Hua felt that Yi Chunfeng could really create a miracle and subdue the First Saint Flame. Ancient Underworld Song. The 108 formation flags were attacked by the First Saint Flame crazily, causing cracks to appear. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce, forming a large number of sound patterns. It evolved into an extremely powerful ancient underworld song and attacked the First Saint Flame together with the Cosmos Sword Formation, forcefully weakening its attacking power and delaying the time it took to tear apart the defensive formation. Boom, boom, boom. As its fire body was continuously devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood, the First Saint Flame had no choice but to self-detonate its fire body to forcefully tear apart the defensive formation. Finally, the First Saint Flame paid a huge price and tore apart the defensive formation, appearing in the Black Sea of Fire. At this moment, almost half of its fire body had been devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood. Adding on the fact that it had just self-detonated, the First Saint Flame had become unprecedentedly weak. Gu Jianga, Heart of the Sword Bright Moon. Just as First Saint Flame was about to escape into the flame cave, Yi Chunfeng leaped into the air. Holding the Ice Dragon sword in his hand, he slashed out a sword aura that was like a mountain. It was branded with the imprint of the Great Path of Reproduction. It was like a bright moon shining high up in the sky, releasing an endless pressure of the will of the Great Path. It mixed with the terrifying sound of the Great Path and split First Saint Flame's broken body in half. Chaos Divine Wood, suppress. Yi Chunfeng controlled the Chaos Divine Wood, which was getting bigger and bigger, to suppress the remaining half of the first Saint Flame's body. It forcefully suppressed it and extended thousands of roots, crazily devouring it. Soon, half of the first Saint Flame's body was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood. The remaining one-third of the first Saint Flame escaped into the flame cave in a sorry state. Whoosh! An ear-piercing sound rang out. Yi Chunfeng kept the Chaos Divine Wood back into his body and flew into the flame cave with extreme speed. He chased after the remaining one-third of the first Saint Flame. He was determined to devour it all and use the Chaos Divine Wood to help him subdue it. After escaping into the flame cave, the first Saint Flame immediately absorbed the fire energy in the flame cave to repair its body. At this time, Yi Chunfeng chased over and controlled the universe sword formation to continue attacking. Flame Vortex. After witnessing the power of the universe sword formation, the first Saint Flame immediately revolved and stirred the endless fire energy in the flame cave. It turned into a terrifying vortex, resisting the attacks of the universe sword formation. 9 Dragon Diagram Break. The first Saint Flame was severely damaged, and the power of the flame vortex it formed was greatly reduced. Yi Chunfeng summoned the 9 Dragon Diagram and continuously spat out a few mouthfuls of blood essence into it. He activated the power of the 9 Dragon Diagram and condensed the spirits of the 9 dragons to attack the flame vortex. In a series of concentrated explosions, the flame vortex was torn apart with crack. The remaining body of the first Saint Flame suffered great damage again. However, it did not accept its fate. It crazily merged with the power of the flame cave and made a final struggle. I want to see who can last until the end. Although Yi Chunfeng was under a lot of pressure in the flame cave, and the consumption of energy was obvious, in order to subdue the first Saint Flame, Yi Chunfeng relied on his strong will and persevered bitterly. He controlled the universe sword formation to attack, controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the ancient underworld song, and multitasked, controlled the Gu Dao treasure to attack. Powerful, this little guy is too powerful. I have never heard of such methods before. When Elder Hu realized that Yi Chunfeng's soul was able to deduce the sound of the great Dao at the same time and control several Gu Dao treasures attacks, his calm face revealed a trace of shock. He felt that Yi Chunfeng was a bottomless pit. Even he could not see through Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng and the first Saint Flame fought fiercely in the flame cave for more than 2 hours. Finally, with the help of countless methods and the powerful Gu Dao treasure, he shattered the flame vortex formed by the first Saint Flame. In the next moment, under his control, the Chaos Divine Wood suppressed the severely damaged first Saint Flame. Tens of thousands of 5-colored roots extended and broke into the first Saint Flame's body, crazily devouring its flame body. In the end, the violently struggling first Saint Flame was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood and disappeared in the burning flame cave. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1133. After successfully devouring the first sacred flame with the help of the Chaos Divine Wood, Yi Chunfeng did not stay for long. He quickly crushed the heavenly fire writ and left the dangerous 8-layer flame cave, arriving outside the fiery red palace. Watermark advertisement test outside the fiery red palace. Yi Chunfeng did not encounter the flame spirit Saint Sun and the others seeking revenge, so he let out a sigh of relief. Although Yi Chunfeng was not afraid of the sacred fire valley, at this critical juncture, Yi Chunfeng did not want to start a conflict with the sacred fire valley so early, so as to avoid affecting his participation in the Sky Hall's competition. And that kid's life is really good. He actually managed to leave the 9-layer flame cave alive. Yong Tianho, who had generously booked a private room in a restaurant outside the nine-layer flame cave and was waiting for Xiao Tianyan's triumphant return, revealed a trace of surprise when he saw Yi Chunfeng leave the nine-layer flame cave in a very low-key manner. However, in his opinion, with Yi Chunfeng's strength as a fourth-grade combat beast emperor, it was impossible for him to gain anything in the nine-layer flame cave. He did not care and continued to wait patiently in the restaurant. After leaving the nine-layer flame cave in a low-key manner, Yi Chunfeng did not wander around the bustling fire god city and immediately returned to the inn. "Great, Feng Chen, you're finally back. I wonder how your harvest in the nine-layer flame cave was and how many fire spirits did you subdue?" When Yi Chunfeng returned to the inn, Wang Tian Marquis and Mu Qinghua, who were guarding Jiao Yian, sensed his arrival and called Yi Chunfeng to the side room. The harvest was not bad. Yi Chunfeng smiled and took out 12 fist-sized fire spirits, handing them to Mu Qinghua. "Feng Chen, you..." Looking at the 12 fire spirits handed over by Yi Chunfeng, Mu Qinghua's pupils shrank as he looked at him. "I used up a lot of Wangtian Pavilion's points to enter the nine-layer flame cave. These 12 fire spirits will be a gift to Wangtian Pavilion as repayment." Yi Chunfeng smiled and said softly, "Feng Chen, you are too polite. You are my Wangtian Pavilion's honorary guest. We should support you fully. Not to mention, he helped Yen subdue a heavenly fire spirit alchemist dream of. This kindness is big enough." Wang Tian Marquis said with a graceful smile. "It's because I don't consider myself an outsider that I gave you these 12 fire spirit." Although Yi Chunfeng didn't capture many fire spirits in the nine-layered fire caverns, he had killed the black-clothed woman and the others and obtained more than 20 fire spirits from their belongings. He had given 12 fire spirits to Sky-Gazing Pavilion, so Yi Chunfeng still had 20 fire spirits in his possession. Although the fire spirit was powerful, it could not increase the quality of the first Saint Flame and the Death Flame Heavenly Flame. Therefore, the fire spirit was not very useful to him. "Okay, then I will shamelessly accept it." At Wang Tian Marquis' signal, Mu Qinghua accepted the 12 fire spirits that were extremely precious to him. Yi Chunfeng asked softly, "Oh right, Marquis, how is Yuyan doing? How much has she fused with the heavenly flames?" "With the help of me and the Grand Secretary, Yuyan's fusion with the solitary heavenly flame has reached 80%. At most, she will need one more day to completely fuse with the solitary heavenly flame. At that time, she will be able to control the solitary heavenly flame to refine pills." Wang Tian Marquis looked at Yi Chunfeng with gratitude and slowly said. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "Marquis, Grand Secretary, I have some gains in the nine-layered fire caverns and plan to cultivate in seclusion for a few days. Please don't let anyone disturb me." Wang Tian Marquis didn't ask and nodded. "Don't worry, Feng Chen, with us here, no one will disturb your cultivation." However, she didn't know that Yi Chunfeng's gains were the first Saint Flame that no one had ever tamed in the nine-layered fire caverns. After returning to his room, Yi Chunfeng immediately laid down a restriction formation. After taking a bath and relaxing, he wore a thin robe and sat cross-legged on the soft bed. He controlled the primal chaos divine wood to forcefully erase the first Saint Flame's consciousness. Only by erasing its consciousness would Yi Chunfeng be able to recognize the first sacred flame as its master and refine it into his body. Due to the existence of the primal chaos divine wood, Yi Chunfeng could allow the two great flames to live in his body at the same time. When Yi Chunfeng controlled the primal chaos divine wood to erase the first Saint Flame's consciousness, the first Saint Flame immediately resisted fiercely. However, the primal chaos divine wood completely restrained it. No matter how much the first Saint Flame struggled, it couldn't resist the erosion and attacks of the five-colored root. Slowly, the first Saint Flame's consciousness became more and more blurred. In the end, it was completely erased by the five-colored root. "Phew, I finally succeeded." After erasing the first Saint Flame's consciousness, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. However, the movement of integrating the first Saint Flame was too big. He deliberately hid this trump card and didn't want to expose it too early. With a thought, he entered the Qiankuan realm. Young Master Yi, how's the situation outside? That incident didn't affect you, right? When Yi Chunfeng entered the Qiankuan realm, the Marquis of Qianming, who was cultivating in the Qiankuan realm, immediately came to his side and asked respectfully. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and looked at the Marquis of Qianming, who had completely surrendered to him, and said, "You did well in that matter. These 2 petals are your reward." This was when Yi Chunfeng transplanted the golden petal fire lotus into the Qiankuan realm. He didn't alarm anyone. However, when he felt the spirituality contained in the petals of the golden petal fire lotus, the Marquis of Qianming felt that it was extraordinary. These are 2 petals of the golden petal fire lotus. With the spiritual power contained in these 2 petals, your success rate of crossing the world, extinguishing heavenly punishment, and breaking through nirvana should increase by several times, Yi Chunfeng said lightly. The petals of the golden petal fire lotus. The Marquis of Qianming knew the preciousness of the golden petal fire lotus. There were only a few of them in the entire central mainland. His eyes widened, revealing a look of deep surprise. With these 2 petals, he was 80% sure that he could cross the world, extinguishing heavenly punishment and break through to nirvana. Marquis of Qianming, cultivate well and be loyal to me. Sooner or later, you will become a nirvana heavenly realm master and stand at the top of the world. Yi Chunfeng looked at the excited Marquis of Qianming and revealed a trace of arrogance. Young Master Yi, my life has long been yours. If you ask me to go east, I won't dare to go west. The Marquis of Qianming patted his chest and promised. Well, you go cultivate. I'm going to cultivate too. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng found a quiet place and used the power of the Chaos Divine Wood to slowly integrate the first sacred fire. Although the process of integrating the first sacred fire was very painful, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was strong enough and his willpower was strong enough to completely endure the pain caused by the backlash of the first sacred fire. Just as Yi Chunfeng was doing his best to integrate the first sacred fire, a huge commotion occurred outside the Ninefold Flame Caverns. Yong Tianhou, who had waited for 3 days, discovered that Xiao Tianyan still hadn't come out of the Ninefold Flame Caverns and fell into a panic. How is this possible? With Yen Er's strength and trump cards, how could something have happened to him in the Ninefold Flame Caverns? The Ninefold Flame Caverns had existed for a long time, and no one had ever stayed inside for more than 3 days. Yong Tianhou knew that something had happened to Xiao Tianyan and was unable to accept this fact. Who did it? Who killed my son? Xiao Tianyan was Yong Tianhou's favorite son and also his hope. Now that he had died in the Ninefold Flame Caverns, Yong Tianhou went mad with anger. Flames of fury erupted from his body as he roared at the sky. Not only was Yong Tianhou furious, but several experts of the Kirin Kingdom were also furious. The black-clothed woman was an 8th-level heavenly master with exceptional refining skills. Now that she was suspected to have died in the Ninefold Flame Caverns, it had caused an immeasurable loss to the Kirin Kingdom. However, the Ninefold Flame Caverns was too special. Every time it opened, someone would die. Finding the culprit was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Due to the death of Xiao Tianyan and the others, the Ninefold Flame Caverns had fallen into chaos. The higher-ups of the Heavenly Palace also found out from Elder Hua that Yi Chunfeng had subdued the first sacred fire in the Eightfold Flame Caverns and were also shocked. Soon, Yi Chunfeng's registration information appeared in the hands of the Heavenly Palace's Palace Master, Xian Hongzheng. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1134. Feng Chen, from 9 Heavens God Nations Wangtian capital, is an honorary guest of Wangtian Pavilion. He has cultivated for less than 50 years and is a 4-star alchemist. Looking at the information about Yi Chenfeng, Xian Hongzheng and the others looked at each other in disbelief. Watermark advertisement test Chinese. Net 1. Is this information correct? Feng Chen is really a 4-star alchemist, and he has cultivated for such a short time. Xian Qingyun, the vice palace master, frowned and said doubtfully. Although a 4-star alchemist was a high status in the eyes of ordinary people, in the eyes of Xian Hongzheng and the others, a 4-star alchemist was too ordinary. Normally, an alchemist of this level would not attract their attention. But now, an ordinary 4-star alchemist had created a miracle. Not only did he go deep into the 8-layered inferno, which was enough to melt an upper-grade Tao artifact, but he also subdued the first Saint Flame, which even Nirvana's Almighty could not subdue. Elder Hua's information should not be wrong. Xian Hongyun showed a thought-provoking smile and said, "This little guy is a bit mysterious. His origin should not be simple." Yes, subduing the first Saint Flame in the 9-layered inferno was a historical achievement. It seems that he deliberately hid his strength as a 4-star alchemist. Second Elder Xian Yunzhou nodded and said, "Palace Master, should we find Wangtian Marquis of 9 Heavens God Nation and ask about the little guy's origin?" Xian Qingyun asked. "No, if that little guy wants to hide his strength, then we should not disturb him too early. Let's wait for the Heavenly Palace competition." Xian Hongyan shook his head and said thought-provoking, "By the way, Palace Master, did Elder Hua say which race that little guy is cultivating?" Xian Qingyun asked. Elder Hua said that the little guy has several great inheritances. Not only did he cultivate the human race's inheritance, but he also cultivated the divine race's inheritance, the demon race's inheritance, and the monster race's inheritance. Xian Hongyun said, "What? 4 great inheritances in one body? Which old monster taught such an amazing talent?" Xian Qingyun and the others were shocked and said in surprise, "All right, let's put that little guy's matter aside for now. 3 days later, we'll open the Heavenly Street Square. 5 days later, the Heavenly Hall's competition will officially begin." Hall Master Xian Hongyun said in a low voice, "I hope that in this competition, our human race's sage master will be able to win the championship and suppress the 3 races' limelight." Day after day passed. Yi Chenfeng fused with the holy fire for 3 days without sleeping or resting. Finally, with the help of the Chaos Divine Wood, he fused with the holy fire. "Phew, I finally succeeded." Yi Chenfeng let out a long sigh of relief and opened his tightly shut eyes. A faint smile appeared on his face. The sky incinerating holy flame was an elementary holy flame. It was originally formed from the sun essence flames and could burn everything in the world. Yi Chenfeng summoned the dark golden sky incinerating holy flame. When he felt the destructive power in the flame, he revealed a satisfied smile. Just as Yi Chenfeng was about to try to control the sky incinerating holy flame to refine weapons, the wisp of remnant soul he left in the side room heard a light knocking sound. He moved his mind and retrieved the sky incinerating holy flame into his body and went into the side room. When Yi Chenfeng dispelled the restriction in the room and opened the door, he saw Jiao Yuyan, who was wearing a long green silk dress and had snow-white skin, standing outside the room. He smiled and said softly, "Yuyan, you've completely fused with the cold solitary heavenly flame." "I completely fused with the cold solitary heavenly flame the day before yesterday. But seeing that you've been cultivating, I didn't dare to disturb you." Jiao Yuyan revealed a charming smile and looked at Yi Chenfeng with gentle eyes. She said softly, "Feng Chen, how's your harvest in the 9-fold fire cave? You've gained a lot. Come, let's talk inside." Yi Chenfeng smiled and welcomed the beautiful Jiao Yuyan into the room. He took out 10 imprisoned fire spirits and handed them to her, saying, "These are for you." After refining these 10 fire spirits, your cold solitary heavenly flame's power should increase even more. No, I heard from Mother that you've already given me 12 fire spirits. I can't take any more. Jiao Yuyan shook her head and refused. Yuyan, if you continue to treat me like an outsider, I'm going to get angry. Yi Chenfeng pretended to be angry and said, quickly take them. Okay. Seeing Yi Chenfeng somewhat overbearingly shove the 10 precious fire spirits into her hands, Jiao Yuyan didn't refuse anymore. She happily put the 10 fire spirits into the Qiankuan ring she carried with her. Fengchen, what kind of fire spirit did you get in the ninefold fire cave? Jiao Yuyan felt that Yi Chenfeng's harvest was definitely not limited to these fire spirit. She asked curiously. Wait until the Heavenly Palace competition. Yi Chenfeng smiled and pretended to be mysterious. All right, then I'll wait for your wonderful performance at the Heavenly Palace competition. Seeing that Yi Chenfeng didn't want to say more, the smart Jiao Yuyan didn't ask anymore. She was in a good mood and said softly, "Oh right, Fengchen, do you have time today? Do you want to go out for a walk?" Yi Chenfeng asked with a smile as he looked at the beautiful Jiao Yuyan who was dressed up meticulously. Well, today is the opening day of the Heavenly Neighborhood. Every time the Heavenly Neighborhood opens, it attracts all kinds of big shots to come and trade. The Heavenly Palace also sends people to set up stalls in the Heavenly Neighborhood. Every time the Heavenly Palace competition attracts all kinds of heroes to come to the Fire God City. Other than watching the Heavenly Palace competition, they also come to the Heavenly Neighborhood to buy treasures. Jiao Yuyan explained softly, and every time the Heavenly Neighborhood opens, there will be people who find unexpected treasures. There are even people who buy treasures at very low prices. He didn't expect that the Fire God City would have such a good place. Hearing Jiao Yuyan's explanation, Yi Chenfeng's eyes lit up, and he became very interested in the Heavenly Neighborhood. Because of the Heavenly Palace's supervision, there are very few fake and substandard goods in the Heavenly Neighborhood. However, the treasures in the Heavenly Neighborhood are mostly traded by bartering. Even if they want to buy, they can only trade with top-grade soul crystals. Come, let's go to the Heavenly Neighborhood and look for treasures. After listening to Jiao Yuyan's explanation, Yi Chenfeng became even more interested. He changed his clothes and went with Jiao Yuyan to the Heavenly Neighborhood in the west city of the Fire God City. When the two arrived at the Heavenly Neighborhood, which was shrouded by a powerful restriction, they found that the place was already crowded with people coming and going. It was very lively. In the Heavenly Neighborhood, one could see level 6 beast emperors, Nirvana, and even Nirvana's Almighty. It was enough to show how attractive the Heavenly Neighborhood was. Many people crowded around the simple and spacious stalls, looking for treasures that they liked and bargaining with the stall owners. At the same time, there were also some old foxes with sharp eyes wandering around the stalls, using their eyes that had experienced the vicissitudes of life to look for treasures in the Heavenly Neighborhood. Heavenly King 2, Princess Mingyuan, Yi Chenfeng and Jiao Yuyan arrived at the Heavenly Neighborhood. They saw Heavenly King 2, who was wearing a dark golden dragon robe, exuding the aura of a king, and Di Mingyue, who was wearing a light golden dress and had an elegant temperament, like a proud peacock, accompanied by several experts, looking for treasures in the Heavenly Neighborhood. Other than Heavenly King 2 and Di Mingyue, Yi Chenfeng also saw many peerless geniuses of the central continent in the Heavenly Neighborhood. Although they deliberately concealed their auras and hid their strength, no matter how low-key they were, they couldn't hide their natural auras. Their domineering auras attracted a lot of attention. Just as Yi Chenfeng and Jiao Yuyan were looking for treasures in the stalls, Yi Chenfeng's sharp senses suddenly felt a sharp killing intent appear. This killing intent was so strong that it made many people in fear. They retreated and didn't dare to get close to it. Gently turning his head, Yi Chenfeng saw a woman in a tight black martial arts suit. She had a graceful figure, slender legs, and short hair that reached her ears. Although she wasn't a peerless beauty, she gave off a valiant and heroic aura. She was like an unsheathed sharp sword that walked alone. When this woman appeared, even Heavenly King too took a few more glances at her. There was a different look in his eyes. What a powerful woman! The central continent was really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Looking at the black-clothed woman who walked past him proudly, Yi Chunfeng showed a hint of surprise. He had a feeling that this woman's combat strength was probably above the fire spirit saint. If they fought face to face, he might not be able to win against her. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.